The council now stands out of recess, and I think this might be the longest meeting on history. It's lasted almost 3 days, if not four. Um, so far. We can't recess till Saturday morning. All right. No. We hopefully we should have this closer. Uh, if do I have an update? We're working on it. All right, all right. We'll go to the update on the amendments. Yesterday, uh, we ended with police, but we paused at the cameras and the software. Uh, is that the cameras and the software? And so we're going to revisit that, and then we have to dive into fire. And let me say this: the biggest ask are with police and fire, and so we have to do everything we can to try to find money to make sure that we can do it. And so that's why we're kind of jumping back and forth with this. Police. If just for the sake of this body, the difference between the two cameras. The flock safety and the safe city cameras, the difference between the two, for the sake of the public.
Um, the flock safety cameras are going to be LPR, license plate reader cameras.
Okay.
They're solar powered and they'll be set up in, major intersections. Also, these type cameras also have the opportunity for businesses to purchase that we would be able to get into. And then, your neighborhood associations would be able to do the same. They're all integrated together, and we would be able to look at other agencies, LPRs, and vice versa.
All right. Okay.
And I'm sorry, Wendell Watts, Assistant Chief.
All right. And the safe city cameras are the normal ones that we've been funding throughout
Yes,
the
sir.
year. And then the Cologic.
That's
the
our
public
report
safety-
management system.
Say it again.
That's our report management and CAD system.
All right. And so when we left yesterday, and there was not a lot of pause, but you all were using prior to
Tyler.
Yes, and we went to Cologic, and that caused
Yeah,
the pricing.
we had to break contract with the Tyler system due to just lack of services, and the system would go down. We weren't able to keep up with it, so we had to go to another service. And it happened during the other administration under Chief Davis's administration, and so that's a system that they looked at and purchased and or got into a contract with, sir.
Okay. Mr. Becker, do you see anywhere possible, or do we need to keep looking into some stuff to free up the money based on your recommendation for what PD needs?
Yeah, so if we can just continue a little bit, there was something I was trying to verify, and we're close to that.
Because I guess this is the question. I think this is the question we left with. The 635, was any of the carryover contract monies in the previous year's budget for Tyler? Is there a carryover in this current budget that makes set a difference? Does that make sense? So if Tyler was a previous contract and it was in the budget for previous years, whatever it was, did that line item, did finance put that line item to carry over to their budget, where there may be a subtraction of the difference? Because I think their 635 here is complete cost. right? That 635 is the complete cost, right?
Captain Allen, Jackson Police Department. Yes, sir. It's a yearly license fee to use their public safety software.
So in previous year, what was that license fee?
I don't know, IT paid for Tyler. It wasn't coming out of our budget.
So it was coming out of IT, and then you. So explain that to me.
Yeah, so initially, and this is tied to Munis, right? The first time the city got the Munis package, and then later on had an addendum to add New World Public Safety. And I believe that cost was about 3.5 for New World Public Safety. And that is part of that loan, I think a $7 million loan, right? Combination of Munis and then New World. That's what Technology Fund is actually paying that note. Then on an annual basis, there was a maintenance and service fee, over $400,000, I believe, for New World Public Safety, and the Munis package, I think, is also roughly around $400,000, or maybe a little bit more than that. When we terminated that agreement with New World, we were only left with the obligation to cover the Munis annual maintenance fee.
Right.
Right. Of course, there was a dispute with Tyler Technologies that we were terminating that contract, prematurely. And if you remember, the council requested to remove that payment off the docket probably a year and a half ago.
So last fiscal year.
Right. And so that payment had not been made because we were contesting that the product did not work for JPD, and we needed to get out of that agreement. But later on, they came with a demand to say, if we didn't cure that, our Munis would be impacted as well. So legal worked out the agreement.
Where was the decision made, and why was the decision made that it would no longer be paid for by IT? Is it because IT ran out of money?
They were out of money, essentially, yes.
But on a normal occasion, these things across the city are handled by IT, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So what, in your explanation, was there something that caused IT, or was there a lag in tech fund? I mean, help me understand where we got to a place where IT wasn't able to do any of this stuff.
Yeah, so covering the debt service, right, is, so essentially out of there, it used to be about $4.3 million, that IT could use for technology-related things in the city. But then when they had to start paying the debt service, which was...
When you say debt service, you're talking about technology type stuff, right?
The debt service, right, for the loan that was obtained to get Munis product and New World Public Safety. I think it was like $7 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so because of so in other words, at some point, the city made some decision to buy something that it couldn't afford. Is that what I'm hearing? If IT has the responsibility of, taking care of these things throughout the city because they're IT, so it seems to me that what you're saying is that at some point there was a decision made where as the debt begins to add up, that it basically drained her budget.
Yeah, because that was like $1 million less, right? Less that was available to cover technology-related expenses, because now that money was used to pay for debt service. And I believe that matures in 2027. Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yeah, the Tyler New World matures in 2027. There's more components to that. There is also licensing that we have to have for softwares that we run in the city. That's also paid out of tech fund.
There's a-
So they have those reoccurring licenses that they have to pay for, like for email and stuff like that.
Based on the tech fund, is IT overextended?
They are maxed out. They cannot take on any more new software or anything like that unless we give them funding for that. I mean, until we get some of these paid down. Munis will pay off, I believe, in 25 or 26.
In
And then,
26.
so, this was supposed to be all new software to run everything. So when you went away from it, we'd already paid Tyler. We're just paying the loan back now. So now if you add a new software on there, we got to pay for that software along with this one. That's why her budget just can't handle it. Also, when they went away from Tyler, Public Safety, we had to pay $400,000 just to get out of that contract.
All right. Since debt service came up, I believe there was a request yesterday when we looked at the $9.6 million in miscellaneous, and it was said that was debt service.
Not all of it. Some of it's debt service, some of it is your appropriations to the zoo, to PEG. I was giving you all those things that this,
Can you give us an itemized breakdown?
I can.
And then, and if it's an appropriation to the zoo that's there, help me understand why it's not in Parks and Rec.
It is, there is
so
an
it's
appropriation to
going-
parks, it is an appropriation to the zoo, it is an appropriation to PEG.
Yeah, I just want to see, because I see appropriation line 5.9, and then I see 9.6 in the miscellaneous line. If I can just get a breakdown, because whatever is not in there for debt service should be usable in my eyes.
Okay,
All right, so, police, I'm sorry, I appreciate y'all for being here early. We gotta track this down and find some money. And let me ask this question. It seems as if this IT thing is just not a police problem. This is departments citywide having to find money in their own budget or ask for money because IT's not able. Is that a yay or nay?
For the most part, with new items, right, yes.
All right, so that's clerk of council, municipal clerk, fire, planning, public works, everybody's scraping to try to find something to deal with IT stuff that would normally be covered within the tech fund. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yes, and new stuff, like if you're trying to add on something new, right? Because with the tech fund, like Sharon mentioned, there are a lot of licensing fees that have to be paid, the email system, and that's, over 300,000. So there's a list of commitments and maintenance, right?
All right,
Yeah.
so the maintenance fees and everything for everything IT citywide is all coming out of IT. Can I get a breakdown of those things in IT?
Yeah.
I see she's on. She's on. Dr. Reed is on.
Hi, great morning.
Yeah. Just
Yes.
break down of those things that IT should, the difference, let me see, what they should be handling,
Right.
and the burden that has now been given to the departments based on what they're not able to handle. Is that fair enough question? Colleagues, any questions on that?
I got some questions for APD.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. My question, Chief Watts, is on our items listed here. If we go over to the far right, and it says vehicles, 315 inoperable, 213 operable. I'm glad you've got the numbers down. That's helpful. But obviously, if you got 315 more vehicles inoperable than operable,
Yes, sir.
it begs the question of what's the plan to dispose of, sell for scrap or whatever, the vehicles that are not worth trying to repair?
Yeah, we'll be working on doing an auction on that. We've got to go through the process of getting that. We're looking at hopefully getting that done in the next half year.
Okay, because there's scrap dealers that long-term citizens,
Yes, sir.
and in Jackson that deal with that stuff.
Yes,
I
sir.
hope they would have the opportunity to bid on them as
Yes,
well.
sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, Deputy Chief, good morning. How you doing?
How are you?
Good, good. Look, I believe Chief Wade came before us and during the first presentation and gave us the absolute necessity for these license plate readers.
Yes.
And so now you're asking for $96,000 for those license plate readers.
Yes, sir.
And can you refresh us again as to what they'll be able to do
The license
towards
plate.
our crime fighting efforts?
Yeah, the license plate readers will be put in locations throughout the city. They'll be on poles or either city poles. And then what they do is they capture your license plate as it drives by wherever area that we have it put up. And we usually will put them in areas where there's a lot of ingress and egress for where the crime locations are at. And then what it does is it gives us an opportunity. It'll capture a picture of the back part of the vehicle, so we'll know what type of vehicle it is, and also the tag. So, and it will alert us real time as it's going. So if we have one that been used in an auto burglary and we know the tag, we'll put it on the tag reader. We'll look to see if it's hit anywhere or if it's hit anywhere prior. So if there's been any more, or if we alert and put it in there, it will alert us immediately that one's going into an area. So we'll be able to put resources in that area immediately to try to get it stopped.
Do you need any additional ones other than the ones we see here?
Do we
If
need
were to
additional
provide
ones?
Additional money for license plate readers, would they be of value?
Well, at that point, what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to look and see what we need as far as, or what's available grant-wise. We've got grants coming up available. So we're hoping that some are going to be a technology grant that we might be able to tack on to what we'll be able to purchase. But that's not a guarantee. So we want to make sure that we go ahead and get these essentials started, and then we can add on to it.
And so, and now again, I just wanted to refresh, I wasn't questioning the value of it. I wholeheartedly endorse these as being a vital piece
Yes, sir.
of reducing crime in the
Yes,
city of Jackson. So I certainly appreciate you.
Thank you.
Giving that little overview. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Council President.
Yes, just for some clarity, Chief, I was under the impression there had already been an auction, or that there was one about to happen. Has there been one this budget cycle?
We just had one auction.
Okay. How much did it net?
I'm not 100% positive on that. We just had it this past weekend. It was, what was it, last Saturday? And I'm not sure exactly what it was. I think it's going to be somewhere around the 200,000 range, but they were still doing batches and everything this past week, so we do not have a solid number yet.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if that money has already been allocated or if it's what it's going to. I'm not privy to that.
But you're planning to do a
Yes,
larger one?
we're going to start back doing them on a regular basis.
Okay.
I believe somewhere around the COVID timeline is where we ended up getting behind on things.
Okay.
So we're going to get caught up on the auction parts.
Okay, and what do y'all have a goal in mind financially of what you hope to gain from these auctions over the next budget cycle?
A lot just depends on, the properties that we get. Excuse me. But the auctions that we do will be of property that we are either seizing or that has been left at the impound yard and things like that. And so once we do that type of auction, we get X amount of funds. And then if we do the auction of the patrol units, we get X amount of funds. But, it'll kind of range.
And y'all don't have an earmarked spot for those auction funds, where they go in the budget?
I don't know on that, because like I said, we did the auction at the latter part right before our budget. I mean, after we had initially started talking about it, because we weren't sure what it's going to bring in. So they may get finished on that. I'm not sure.
Could we get regular report, when you have an auction, can we get a report on what you gain from that? Thank you.
Ms. Lindsay, that there is a fund too, is where all their auction money goes to. But they have also put some contracts in there for their cameras and stuff. What I would like to see done in the future is that auction money just be used to replace replace police cars and units because that's actually what we're selling. And I would like to use that money to offset buying their police cars. But for right now, we've got to take care of those situations that's in there. It's not going to be a real long-term thing. But to be able to tell you what is available, I would have to subtract out what they already owe.
Chief.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Chief. In the past, we brought up the condition of the weapons or the old guns and stuff in the building next door.
Yeah, what we're going to be doing is we're presenting this next council meeting, propertyroom.com. I believe y'all have looked at it before.
Yes, sir.
Somehow it just got put to the wayside in the prior administration, but we're putting it up. I believe it's going to be on the agenda this next go-round. So we'll be discussing that again in length because with propertyroom.com, they'll come in, they'll straighten up our evidence room, property room, see what we can destroy, what we can sell, what we can, get rid of.
And I appreciate that. Again, I'm looking at it from a safety issue as well. You got a bunch of folks over there working.
Yes.
Over that condition. But I'd like to just emphasize one thing. I am not in favor of you guys having to piecemeal and penny and dime and sell off stuff to get the essential equipment and supplies you need to take care of our city's crime problem.
Yes.
I think we can find money, new money, but you shouldn't be relying on selling this and that just to afford a camera.
Yes.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, any other question?
One other
Yes,
question.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Chief, on page 147 of the budget book, it's the end of the last page of the police, JBT's part of the budget book. It shows that, this is the bottom line here, that the 2024 original budget for JPD was $36,671,000. And that it says revised budget, it was revised up by about 2.2 million to 38,844,000. I don't know why it was raised up, but then it's showing that the expected budget for 2025, the one we're talking about, is back to 36,697,000. So my question is, maybe you don't, I don't know, who might know this, but question is, why was it raised up by 2.2 million? And then, if that was needed last year, why is it going back to 36.69 million this year?
I think some of it's grant monies and also the Collagic, the
Okay.
RMS system.
So the grant monies are not, well, I guess you have to apply for grants, but there's an expectation of what you're getting for grants, but it
Yes.
could be more than that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They're not able to hear you, so talk more directly.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I mean, I hope we maximize our grant income, and I hope
Yes, sir.
Officer Gray can.
We're working with the city also. The city's
Okay.
got some grant people that they've offered assistance with us.
Okay.
We're going to be looking at every opportunity that we can.
Okay.
We are also working with the U.S. Attorney's Office, who's going to send us in some people with BJA, which is the grant administrators through the federal government. They're going to help us walk through certain grants that will fit our needs. We're trying to look for grants more than having to do like match grants. Now, the cops grant to be able to get officers, it is a match type grant, but we want to try to find other grants that we don't have to match, that we just get flat out an X amount. And then, but we do have to, reach certain criteria, and we also have to send in monthly or either quarterly statistics that we say that, we need it for.
Okay. Well, very good. I wish you the best of luck. I'm glad the U.S. Attorney is working with you all on that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, just real quick, finance, what was the budget amount for police overtime?
You talking about the projected amount for overtime for next year? Or
No,
this-
no, the budget amount for this past year.
Through July?
Yeah, what was budgeted? What was budgeted for police overtime?
What page is that?
Just 1 second.
Yes.
What is it?
So, Councilman Banks, so there's, within different divisions, let me go to operations specifically.
Okay.
Operations. So they had budgeted about roughly $1.3 million
$1.3 million budgeted for overtime for police. And how much were they
for
over?
operations. Yes, for operations. And by the time this budget book was printed, which was August 9th, I believe, they were at
So hold on.
1.36.
It's in operations, but I'm saying their overtime, that's where it comes from, right?
Yeah, and so, because they have the different divisions, you know,
I get it.
communications, but specifically the operations, that's where the significant overtime is.
All right, so that's what, so 1.3 is what
So-
was budgeted.
Yeah, so and that's rounded off, but the actual number is $1,282,262.
And how much did they go over?
So through
July.
August, no, this budget was printed August,
Oh, okay.
Mr. Food, right? Mid-August, they were at $1,362,419 spent,
All right,
right?
so there, do we have a projection on how much they will exceed their overtime by?
I mean, we're in September, we could pull up some real numbers. Captain Outland, do you?
Let me ask this, Sharon, are they expected to go 250,000 over their overtime? Huh? You sure? Historically, how much do they usually go over their overtime? That's a big around. So you thinking it's gonna land around 1.7 million? At least so let's say a window between 1.5 to 1.7 over. And it's 1.7 now?
Yeah, that's it. That's the whole
Well,
department.
I'm asking for everyone in police. All right. And I just, so 1.7, so that's about 500,000, 400,000 or 500,000 over. When that typically happens and it's not budgeted, how do you balance that out? Where do you get it from?
Yeah. So for the most part, you know, when they would have unspent salaries,
You go
right,
in,
they would move it
you would
down,
move
right,
it down.
from salaries to overtime.
Okay, which ends up hurting its own opportunity for growth, basically. Okay. Yes, sir.
Just Chief, do you have any type of management strategies that you're looking at in the next fiscal year that could help reduce that overtime need?
Yes, sir. A lot of the overtime that we accrued was due to special events, due to dispatch, due to manpower shortages. And so when we started building up the manpower, we were starting to be able to get, you know, where we needed to move manpower and watch the overtime. We've also recently moved manpower in the precincts to reestablish control of overtime. So we're not looking to have this issue going into the next fiscal year.
How much of a reduction do you just somewhat anticipate conservatively?
Conservatively, I'd like to say probably around a 25%, you know, with our normal overtime budget, because, you know, the chief and I were discussing it, and, you know, there were some mismanagement in the areas during the first part of the year and going into the latter part of the year. So but it's been due to a lot of functions that we've had to cover that, you know, the city, you know, each year, you know, we know we're going to have the fair, we know we're going to have certain things, and sometimes that just hasn't been budgeted in.
Right.
And so we have to try to figure out manpower, and when we're low on manpower, we still have to cover. So that's where we start getting into the, you know, we'd rather make sure that the city gets the coverage, and, you know, we go ahead and accept the overtime.
So a conservative estimate is 25%
That's what we're hoping.
reduction.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Chief, just one more question, and I just keep, but what does the health of the reserve unit look like?
Right now, excuse me, right now, the reserve unit is being restructured. We're also going through a lot of problems with, or not a lot of problems, a lot of restructuring with DPS. Minimum standards has changed everything, so yes.
Well, no, and I know if there's anybody that know how to operate and deal with a reserve unit, it's
Yes.
you.
And another thing that we're looking at doing is we're looking at hiring part-time officers to supplement some of this. That will be a council agenda probably within the next month, just to discuss the hiring of part-time, or what I classify as PRN. Part-time, you end up having to give, if they reach a certain amount, you end up having to give some type of benefits to, but we want to make sure it's just an as-needed type deal, that they're not guaranteed hours, except when we need something is to make sure that shift shortages are either, and that will cut on paying time and a half with just using hourly pay.
All right. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Of course, what we're waiting on is some information to see, to find the money to deal with these other things.
Yes, sir.
All right, because right now it's just not there. All
Thank
right,
you.
But I think the only thing that we were able to achieve were the raises, so congratulations on that.
Thank you, sir.
And so somebody be in touch as we read there. Let's
Thank
go
you.
let's go real quick, and this is, colleagues, just to get some questions as we move forward so that we'll know what we're looking at as cost. And so I want to call fire up real quick, or just open up for fire so that we can know. Let me find it here. Your vacant position. Hold on. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Hold on, fire. Police, you gone? I think we can go ahead and, colleagues, I think we can go ahead and deal with the one-time expenditures now for police. Then we come right back to y'all. Hold 1 second. Then that way we'll be finished and we'll have to call them back. All right. So, colleagues, there is about 1.826 available. This is, of course, one-time monies that could be used to help deal with police. And this is fund, what's that fund number? Fund number 376, and thank y'all for finding that. And this is just funds and contingency from things that were left over, things that were left over from previous settlements. And so if we want to go ahead, Mr. Mellenbeck has found that money. If we want to go ahead and make the amendments, then I would take that amendment for and somebody add this up. 96,000 for the LPR cameras, 75,000 for the Safe City cameras, $635,515. Is that the correct amount? I have 639,000 here for CoLogic, and then I have 635 written next to it. It's two conflicting amounts, and I don't know why I made that note. It's in the request. Flip over. You want to just go on and do 640,000 to be safe?
645.
It's 635 or 45? because somewhere I wrote down next to it, 639,175. That might have been an updated amount. All right, so 640,000 for CoLogic public safety cameras. And colleagues, help me remember, what did we say about the towing? What did we say about the towing? The 200,000? Huh? I see the vehicle towing here, 200,000. It's going
going up
it's
50.
50,000.
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's what it is. So it's not 200, it's 50. So you got that 640 and 50. What's that total? 861,000. And the money that was freed up, or the money that was found, I'm sorry, not freed up, the money was found is about 1.8. Is there a motion to go ahead?
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly second that we amend this budget to take from Fund 376, 96,000 plus 75,000 plus 640,000 plus 50,000 to police to handle the required listing. Any questions or comments?
Do you want to move it from that fund or just set the expenses up in that fund? Because that's how we track what we spend out of, when we start moving money from fund to fund, it gets harder to track when the auditors
So-
come in and want to know stuff. It's the Siemens Fund. We can set those expenses up in that line, in that fund, and that way it makes it easier when the auditing happens for everything to be tracked.
Okay, all right. All right, so according to how she said it, I'm sure that you will give her the proper language for the amendment. All right, so we have a motion to second on the floor.
Yes.
And let the record reflect, I didn't say this, that we do have a full quorum in this committee, a quorum of 5. All in favor? Mr. Griselle? Did he say anything?
Aye.
All right, aye. All right, so that's 5-0. All right, thank you.
Thank y'all very much.
The only thing that we're going to be dealing with throughout the year is the animal control. As we get some more details on that, we're going to revisit that, all right?
Yes, sir.
All
Thank
right,
y'all.
Thank you. All right. All right, now fire. The total, what's the total dollar?
861,000. For all the
No, we're going to revisit that when we deal with all of the master leases across the city. We'll deal with all that at the same time. Because we got to look at all those leases. All right. All right. Hold on 1 second, Chief. One, your vacancies, I'm trying to find it, I just had it. I think it was somewhere, and colleagues, if you have it, you might have around 42. Finance, you provided that information. Is that correct? Well, I know you can't speak too well.
That's not what we have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm asking finance, you provided. How much? I got it. So 51 vacancies in fire, 1 civilian and 50 firefighters totaling 2.7, roughly 2.7 million. Is that accurate, finance? Chief, to your account, is that about right?
I didn't know we had 51 vacancies.
budgeted right now. I didn't know that, so
Okay.
I have to refer to budget on that.
All right, finance, is that a verified number? 51 vacancies? I have 51 vacant, salary differentials equals 2.7 million. I guess if you would have knew that, you would have did your budget a different way. Yeah.
Total on that, Mr. Banks?
2.721325459. Somebody have a copy of this that they could provide Chief so he could see? So that he can see the information provided by finance? Yeah, provide that to Chief. And that'll be, and I think that we have a list. It should say number 2. Didn't we get a list, council colleagues? And so if indeed there is 51 vacancies, and of course we kind of deal with this, you know, and trying to help achieve those goals, how much of that, or how many of those vehicles could, because it's hard for me to see from my vantage point with what I understood, and could be limited and not know that you'll fill 51 positions within a fiscal year.
How many, what's your head count in fire department?
Total, yeah, about 293, I believe, and that's in emergency service.
Okay,
That's the people that are out on the trucks at the stations.
all around the clock, okay, 293.
Right.
All right,
So 50 would be about 15%, I think.
yeah. So how, I know, I see it as hard to hire 51 within a fiscal year.
I don't know where they are. I swear I don't.
Evidently, the line items are here and these are all funded. So if in finance, do you have a,
I just want to ask a question. Is that all the positions, not only emergency services, like the entire fire department?
No,
That,
that 293 is not. 293 is emergency services.
You know, I'm just talking about the number of vacancies that are being shared, like all
the
across the fire
entire
department.
fire department?
The vacancies.
Yes.
Yeah.
we're not counting that many vacancies. From what we've seen and what I've been able to count was about maybe 20, 21 vacancies.
Now, that's weird. We got to figure out, that's a huge difference in numbers.
It
Somebody
is.
needs to figure out what the real number, let's assume that Chief is right. How did we get 50?
So finance, you submitted a number of 51. Chief said that there's around 20. If we could get some clarity. Finance, do y'all need some time to kind of deal with this? Okay, so, all right, so they need some time,
Okay.
all right?
Thank
Well,
you.
my question, I don't see, where's the line where the payroll for the emergency services? I've got the total emergency services division, 19,352,000, but it doesn't have I don't see the payroll for that. I mean, there should be, oh, here it is, salaries. So I'm showing the salaries for emergency services. You're budgeting this upcoming year's 13,195,000. Last year was 13,019,000. And so year to date, 11,400,000.
Speak to the,
I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm looking on, this is on page 119. So it shows the budgeted number for upcoming year of 13,195,863 for payroll or salaries for emergency services division. And so far this year, it looks like 11,400,419, which is that's probably pretty close to what it ought to be if everybody's there. If you had 50 vacancies, there should be that should show up somewhere as a big, the actual should be way below what you're expecting.
Yeah, so Councilman Foote, there has been, an issue, and we've been talking to fire department about this, in terms of the coding, right? So they have certain employees within the fire department, emergency services, who would work beyond those scheduled hours. And for the most part, so if a person has, vacation, right, it actually hits the salary line. Although it puts them in overtime, right, it's deducting from the salary line, which when you look at those numbers, you would not think they have any vacancies.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's one thing we're working with the fire department about, because that's an issue, right? It's an issue, yeah.
So since we're there, while we're waiting on if it's 51 or 21 or whatever, how much was budgeted for fire overtime?
So for emergency
1.4.
services,
Was it 1.4?
1.641
That's why I
for
wait to see if I'm
ESD.
gonna get different answers.
Yeah, so ESD was, for the overtime, was $1,641,372.
So it's 1.6.
Right, that was for the 2024 revised budget.
Or how much did they go over?
So by the time the book was printed, they had spent $1,722,780.
So they only gone 100,000 over?
So that was as of August, and I think the budget
Talk to me.
manager has updated numbers.
Looks like they're
We
over
spending
Do we
about,
have our cordless mics?
250,000.
And the reason why, we gotta make sure that those that are commenting, and Brandon, if you're gonna say something, that, it's on the record, or give it to Fidelis to say.
They got to get up.
So as of September 3rd, they have spent $1,814,569.
So basically about 200K over. It's gonna be more than that? I mean, can you do just the same as you did for police? What's the estimate of what, another half, so it's gonna be around the same with police? So they both neck and neck, about 500,000 over. Okay. All right. Do we have the correct number of employees, or you need some more time?
Vacancies.
All right. All right. Your other niece, Chief, while we're looking at that.
Okay.
Did you find out the, oh my God, I'm forgetting our conversation. The ladder truck, the truck that needs to be repaired?
yeah. I gave some information to Mr. Fidelis, but it's about, we estimated about $50,000 for that bucket truck that was damaged out there.
Okay.
And, of course, we had some other trucks that needed some repairs as well.
All right.
So
And
I think those other ones are probably around somewhere, maybe around $32,000 for the rest of them. But that one truck is about $50,000.
all right. And there's nowhere else within the city, or not within the city, where within the fire department, or to be able to achieve this? Because everything is self-insured, all that kind of stuff, that's the reason. I'm asking.
Yeah.
When it comes to like paying
Yeah,
for,
so,
like the truck that was damaged.
Yeah,
This is the
we
truck that was recently damaged at the big fire, right?
Right.
So how,
Yeah, because
I'm
I think
listening.
our auto is self-insured.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are trying to recoup some funds through EPA. They had given us some information through the federal government where we could possibly get $25,000. So we've applied for that and kind of waiting on to see what we can do with that.
So I guess what you're trying to achieve is the same thing, to make sure that the sure money's there, and then if or when that comes in, we'll make the adjustments?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's fine. And I want to be clear on the amounts and make sure they're just not rounded off figures. The 15,000 for supplies increase?
Was it 15 or
that-
5?
I mean, that's in your request.
What was that for?
For just the supplies?
Supplies increase 15,000.
Yeah.
It says increase to various line items totaling in 96,000, and then you have, it's a breakout of 45,000, 6,000, 30, and 15.
Yeah,
That's just,
Moving-
are
moving
those
funds.
requests, or?
No,
yeah, we just moved funds around, that we moved that amount of fund around to cover for the supplies.
So you're not asking for anything?
Well, we were asking for an increase,
And so that's what I'm asking.
yes.
Like, are you asking for an additional 45,000 for motor vehicle repair, an additional 6,000 for travel increase, an additional 30,000 for uniform increase, and an additional 15,000?
Right.
Or,
Right.
so it's an addition, or is that your total amount, and whatever the difference is, you need finance to subtract it?
That's what we're asking, that's what we were asking.
All right, so let's walk this real quick.
Okay,
His, like, and I'm going, I'm not dealing with the budget book, so if somebody's working on this, in his request, like, for example, wherever his motor vehicle repair increase, what is currently in his proposed budget? And so I guess, as we're looking, if we can find out what's currently in his proposed budget for motor vehicle, travel, uniforms, and supplies. And then if you could give us a page number. And I don't know if you all,
hold on.
are there
sir.
any changes in fire in the updated book?
You take your glasses back.
So we've had one book, and then we got a new book. And so
Yeah, and I had the old book.
you might not, so we're trying to just make sure.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, you can tell.
go ahead, Chief.
all right, I think I can clear what you was asking. You were asking about the, money, that we had in the proposed budget. That was money that we were moving out of other professional services to add to those lines. It wasn't an additional ask, it was just money that we were moving around.
Okay. So let me ask this. Are those moves reflected in this book, or do we need to make an amendment? Or do you all need some more time?
I don't know if they're in the book or not, but that's on our, budget proposal.
Yeah, so
Like I said,
the
it was
budget
just-
proposal to us.
Yes,
But
and it was
what-
just money
what-
that was being moved from other professional services to the other different lines so we can better utilize it.
Right. So for example, like if we adopted it and that's not in, those moves haven't been made in here, then that means we need to make an amendment here. Sharon, you gotta have a mic. Anybody know where that quarters mic is?
I'm sorry, they did not
Yeah.
request those moves when with the budget was being put
Presented.
together, presented. So we would make those moves. I think they're trying to make that now because it would be crossing category after we adopt, so we can make those moves.
So we'll have to make those moves, and then there'll need to be an order that we have to prove because it's moved across the categories.
Not, if we do it after we adopt. If we do it now, you will adopt it incorrectly. You just need to tell us to make that move. You just need to vote to change the budget now. The budget hasn't been adopted, so nothing's gonna,
I get what you're saying, but just going back to our conversation yesterday, making sure that we're not using,
once you adopt, if they cross the category, it has to come back
no,
in
I'm talking
here.
even before you adopt. I think just to be legally safe, based on the advice, even though it's before the adoption, it is not safe to cross categories in the budgeting process without any coinciding orders, because then what can happen is during the budgeting session, you can use the budgeting to move money across categories instead of just doing it right all the time.
We've never had to do an order to do that
I know
in the
that
process.
that
but-
that might be true, but then when you find something that is questionable, you want to try to correct it.
It's ever how you want it.
Okay.
But for us to move it, you would now, because we presented the budget to you, it would have to be at the request of council that we make any changes now.
Right, but it will be a cross-category move. All right. Can we find out exactly how much how much these, I mean, not how much, but yeah, a right amount of money for these lines, the to and the where, so that we can look at it. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, right, there's no additional request. All this is being moved within the current, within the current budgeted amounts, right? So it's not going to be an extra 96,000.
6419 is in other operating, and what they're trying to move it to is supplies.
Right.
Yeah, and I want you to understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, it's in their budget. And so during a normal operating year, if they will be required to produce in order to move it across categories, I don't want to do that within the budget and say, well, because we're doing the budget, you don't have to do it. So that means when we're getting ready to adopt this budget, just have their order ready, just like you would in a normal fiscal year, so we could just make sure we cover ourselves. That's all I'm asking. All right.
Okay.
I got some questions.
Fire will have to, I will get with fire, and so they'll know what to do.
Couple of questions. So, Chief, I think you said you thought you had 293 positions. Is that right? Something like that?
293 in emergency service, right.
In emergency service, okay.
Right.
Because I'm looking at this sheet we've got here. Some of it's in red, some of it's black. I'm not sure whether the red is your request or what, but it says 328 budgeted positions. So if that's true, the budget is written for a lot, that's 33 positions.
So just to make sure that we're on the same, I think you're talking about total fire department, including civilians.
Yes, I don't know.
I think he's giving just,
Emergency service.
Oh, I see. Okay.
so I think what he's trying to get to is the entire overall.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would be about 320 something, because we have 4 closed divisions. We have people in training, we have people in the fire marshal's office, people in fire safety, and people in arson and investigation.
So that would
and
suggest
plus the
that you don't
command
have very
staff.
many vacancies.
Beg pardon?
That would suggest you don't have very many vacancies,
Right,
which is what you said to begin with. Okay.
right.
It says overtime is in excess due to staff shortages, which were eliminated to fund previous salary increases. I'm not sure if I understand what that, this is in red. So is the red stuff?
So these are the notes
The
that
notes.
our clerk took
Oh, okay.
as they were giving the presentations to give us highlights and to highlight our ask based on their request.
Okay, then let me go over here to the right side. It says salary increases for all ranks. I assume this is what you're requesting. It's not in the budget. $3,505,014. Is that what y'all are requesting?
Right.
And it gives you a starting pay, if that's, I guess if we were to okay, the starting pay would be $52,500.
Right.
Okay. So that's above my understanding of what JPD is starting.
It is.
I don't know if there's some sort of, equilibrium level there that.
I think the first thing is we have to look and see what the correct number is. The problem is
Correct number of.
finance provided to us that there were 51 vacancies, equaling 2.7 million.
Okay.
Chief says that ain't so. It's about 20. We can't do anything until we get the information down. And then we don't have to make any outside amendments because Chief Augman said that those changes are already made. We just need we just, for our safety, going to do an order because that money's going from one category to the other. So I don't think the only additional outside request is the ladder truck, the bucket truck. So we could go on and take care of the bucket truck now, okay? What was that amount, Chief? Oh, I'm sorry.
50,000.
50,000? All right.
Now, normally, don't we get supplemented with grant money for fire trucks and stuff?
Well, the EPA
Or somebody, some federal?
is probably going to more than likely get it, but in order to make sure that that truck is operable.
Sure.
Instead of waiting till March, let's go ahead and do it. And then what finance is committing to, that once that money comes in, then they will move it back or whatever. And so I would need an amendment from that same fund
Okay,
to take,
so moved.
y'all know what fund I'm
Was
talking
that
about?
fund,
Fidelis?
that was fund
376,
376?
Oh, the Siemens fund.
To take,
to allocate, because you're not gonna move it, you're gonna keep up with it.
to allocate $50,000 to the repair of the bucket truck that was damaged in a recent fire.
All right, second. All right, it's been moving properly second that we take 50,000 from Fund 376 to allocate for the repair of the bucket truck. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Griselle?
Y'all can hear me?
We hear you now.
Oh, I've been saying
Oh, we ain't hear you. All right, so that's 4-0. All right, Chief, go ahead.
Council, I'd like to clarify something that Councilman Foote asked about earlier when we was talking about our starting salaries and saying that once we, or if we give this $10,000 raise, then that would put our starting at above what PD makes. Actually, our starting, we have a rank, firefighter 1. They start off right now at 35. The only reason we don't count that is because they don't stay in their position very long. So we are looking at the equivalent of what PD has coming straight out of the academy. It would be our rank of firefighter 1, which is 35,000. But they move until firefighter 2 and RDO right after they leave out of the academy. So that's the rank that starts at 42. So those individuals, but they are one step up in the department. Those individuals at that point would be making 52 if this raise is given at 10,000.
Is this math, so let me ask you this, is this math correct? You had the opportunity to review it, the 3.5, because it says 3.5 million, then it says 52,500 starting. And that, is that in what we got? That was in the presentation, that second one. Okay, that was in the second presentation presented to us.
Like I said, that was presented like that because they don't stay in their rank for very long. Firefighter 1 comes in and they're there less than a year. They're gonna be in their rank for less than a year. As a matter of fact, we can't hold them there for more than a year, so that's state rules. So that's the reason why we didn't really consider that 35,000 is the start, but in our actuality, 35,000 is the starting pay. They moved to 42 immediately after graduating the academy. And then if you were to give them a $10,000 raise, the next step up in the fire department would be making at that point 52,000.
Okay. Okay, so we need to put a pin there, colleagues, to discuss that. And so the difference is, in the police department, a corporal, somebody might stay a recruit for 5 years, and they're just making 55 years. But then what you're saying in the fire department, somebody come in, within a year, they probably moving up. And then where in PD, they might only have 15 sergeants. And theirs is more military aligned. You know, you got one person at the top, then the pyramid go down. So you got a whole lot of officers, sergeants, lieutenants, captains, chiefs, you know what I'm saying? But in the fire department, it's like, maybe you might have 50 firefighter 1s, firefighters 2, I'm just saying, and then 81 sergeants. How many sergeants do y'all have now?
We don't have
Captains.
sergeants at all.
Yeah,
They
You don't
were
have any
equivalent to
sergeants?
captains, yes.
How many captains do y'all have?
80. Well, approximately 80. We have a little bit better than 80. That's in the emergency services division.
So-
We have captains in other divisions too.
So you have 80 captains. How many firefighter 1?
How many? You said how many?
Firefighter 1s.
Now,
Yeah,
It's
I'm
less
not
than
sure.
20
Yeah,
firefighter ones that we have.
and how many firefighter twos?
I would estimate around 40.
Okay. All right. All right.
Is there a best practices on, you know, the,
I think there is.
is there best practices on how it should be organized, number of captains versus, you know, FF1s and FF2s? I mean, is there some sort of standard thing that we could look at as to
well, if you are fully staffed, then we should have around 84 in each one of those positions, if you were fully staffed. But since we are not fully staffed, then that's what throws the numbers off, because we have to move people around in order to trying to help out with this overtime. And so actually we had to cut some units short in order to try to help with this overtime. That's what really has helped, because we spent less money this year in overtime actually than we did last year. So, but in actuality, if we were fully staffed, we'd have about 84 captains, 84 lieutenants, and so on.
and how many FF1s and FF2s? Do you have 80 of them too?
Exactly.
Right.
I see. Okay.
Is there a way to do your scheduling to help you bring a savings when it comes to overtime?
Is there a way to,
Regulate your scheduling to prevent the increase or to bring, if we wanted to put a cap on your overtime, right? Is there a way to regulate your scheduling to help bring savings?
yes, there's a way to do it.
How would you do that?
It has to be in agreement with the union,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
And we are in the process trying to see if we can make that happen.
Okay. Okay. All right. So here's where we are. We need to get clarity on these conflicting numbers. And so, for example, like with police, in order to achieve their raise, it was only 140,000, right? Because they were able to identify savings based on positions and everything. And so right now, all we can see is the 3.5 that's before us. Now, I'm just gonna say this, and everybody, we don't have 3.5, right? I think you know that. But there's a way to achieve what we can achieve, but we can't do it without the right numbers or accurate numbers. So Mr. Mellon Becker has requested some time. Is there anyone in your staff that can get with the fire chief so they can kind of hash that out, and then just let me know when y'all ready, and we'll come back. But we did go ahead and take care of that. That was your only outside request that went in your budget, that ladder truck? Was there anything else?
Yeah, well, the other trucks that had some damage as well, it's like, I think, what was it, 32,000? It was 50,000 just for that one truck. And I think the rest of them was about 32,000.
Go ahead, Madam President.
I'm sorry, I do not know the answer to this, but do we have insurance on these vehicles?
Yeah, city.
It's self-insured,
So-
that's why.
It's okay, so there's no insurance company we can make a claim
No,
with
no outside
on our fire trucks?
Is it possible to look at or is the research being done to look at if we did fleet insurance with certain vehicles, if there would be a savings for the city, rather than being self-insured? Have we looked at that?
Yeah, so I think we had discussed that with risk management, and our insurance agent, actually, part of the engagement is to do an analysis of, looking at being fully insured versus self-insured.
And I know we need to replenish the trucks around, God forbid. But if they have a fire like we had 3 weeks ago, and we don't have that truck, I can imagine, where we are. All right, Chief, if we can get from you, and I know you provided, but we just might need some correct numbers and not just estimates of the additional requests outside. So additional requests with one-time money, like over here.
Right.
And then get with finance on an accurate number of raises, and then whatever the accurate number is, according to your rank structure, and then how many, what is the true amount of vacancies? All right, any other question for fire, before they go huddle? All right, let's bring planning back up. Thank you, Chief.
Okay, thank you all.
We, colleagues, just for my memory, and I'm sorry, I got paper scattered everywhere, but did we ever, we never did figure out the code enforcement side, right? That was the deal with. Right, but we didn't make any amendments toward the personnel part. All right, go ahead and go while I think you're accurate on that, Mr. King. Go ahead and go through that breakdown. Mike.
I got you. So, we got with finance yesterday and looked at the total ask. Appreciate it, bro. And looked at the total ask this is with the raises and with the number of new employees that we needed. That total number came down to be 1.2 million.
Hold on.
I got you.
Hold on 1 second. All right.
Yes.
So, I remember. When we got to the 2 million or the $1.8 million.
That's correct.
Mr. Mellenbecker was basically like, that number should come down
That's
some.
correct, because we had included in that current salaries. So what we had included in that number current salaries. So
Okay.
what we did was back out the current salaries and just looked at the increase and the additionals
Okay.
and the vehicles. I'm sorry, and the vehicles.
And, all right, so let's deal with the imperturity monies right now, which is the salaries. How much?
Total salaries was with insurance is $1,043,477.
That's the total salaries. That includes the existing code enforcement.
Yes.
How much did you budget it for?
So his budget for $1 million was already there.
Just for your additional request.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure
Okay. I got you.
$1 million was already budgeted.
Yes, sir.
And you're asking for an additional, those additional positions will require how much?
$1 million, another $1 million, and that's including insurance. $1,043,477.06.
And that's for 10 additional?
Yes.
Mr. Mellenbecker.
Yeah. So, Mr. Keaton, I was actually looking through this. Based on the breakdown that we've looked at, giving the current employees the salary increase, it looks like you need $243,887 to give the current employees a raise. And then for the additional positions, which would be 12 total, The amount needed is $644,835.
Oh, all right, let's go back, rewind for me real quick. 243,000 and what, for raises?
$387.
387, that's for the raises.
For the raises.
All right, and then for 12 additional?
For 12 additional employees, $644,835.
So that's only at $884,000.
$888.
So that's a lot,
221.
lot lower than what he just cited us.
All right, so roughly 644,000.
Right, for new positions.
All right, okay. Any, with your, is there anywhere, and I'm talking to both of you all, within that current budget, because one of the hardest things to find, of course, is money in perpetuity. Is there any way, anywhere where the sacrifice could be made to help achieve that goal on the community improvement side? And that would be the community improvement side, right?
Yes, yeah, for the most
All
part.
right, so is there
I'm sorry,
any,
excuse me.
yes,
You said for the most
For the
part?
most part, yeah. So community improvement is pretty much the bulk of what we're looking at. Yes.
Okay, because we wanted boots on the ground for us checking these vacant lots, and we wanted research people for us tracking down landowners.
That's correct.
Is that where this is going?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
all right. So, like hold on, planning department. All right, and I think this is where we're at, with your 20 vacant positions.
I don't have 20 vacant positions.
How many you have? How many you say you have?
So vacant total, we have like 8 across the department. We only got 2 in community improvement.
All right. Finance said you got 20.
But when finance said that, she was thinking about J-Tran and community development. And yeah, so that's not what we talking about.
But hold on. Is it within the whole department though? Could it be used?
Not to my knowledge. That's outside of my scope. I don't think that we can use J-Tran. Yeah, CDBG, that's grant funded. Yeah.
All right, so when we're asking for the vacant positions that are funded, we're asking about positions that could be used to help achieve our meet goals.
We gave you all the positions that are funded, that are not, doesn't have anybody in them. If you look on the sheets that we put behind there, you'll see exactly where they're at in those departments.
Go ahead.
I'm just looking at the number of different salary lines within the planning department, looking at 2024 actual versus budgeted. Okay. Looking for big, unusual gaps, which would indicate that there's some vacancies. Under personal community improvement, personal services, budgeted amount was 484. Salary through the end of August, through the end of July was 301. That's that's a huge gap there. Obviously, there's less people getting paid than you've got budgeted under community improvement service, personal service. Likewise, it looks like there's perhaps a couple of vacancies over here under development assistance personal service, where the budgeted amount was 287, and through the end of July, it only paid 202. And then there's over here on planning and development administration, it's showing budgeted 192, and through the end of July, only paid out 103. So it appears there's some vacancies in that area too. Now, it's not that much salary, so it may be, like 1 or 2 or 2 or 3 vacancies. So I would like to look in those areas for vacant slots, and we could just move them over to the budget line for the
Community, for the code enforcement officer.
for code enforcement.
All right. So,
I hope you understand what I'm trying. I'm not in the department like you are, but I'm just looking at that, the fact that under personal service, community improvement, which is where code enforcement is, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure what else is in there, but it looks like, hold on. Get my calculator here. 484, 662. They should have spent 403,000 so far, and they've only spent 301. So there's $102,000 that hadn't been spent. How many people that is, I don't know.
One thing, Councilman Foot.
Okay.
So with code enforcement officers, I do believe there are some officers that are outside of community services improvement.
Yeah.
I think you have code enforcement officers in rental registry. You might have one.
Yeah.
Right? Code enforcement,
Yeah.
right.
Mr. Keaton. Michael.
My apologies. Yeah, so we have 5 vacancies across the department. But we've since starting, we hired 2 people in community improvement a month ago. So I mean, it's, I don't know how to speak to, in any depth, but
That helps explain that there's a huge disparity here between the payroll hadn't been spent, which is good. That means there's money that's, in the bank account somewhere that's been lined up to pay. And if we just hired somebody new to replace this slot that's been empty since October 1, explain why there's a shortage of money. But
Mr. Foot.
I'm sorry. So that, I'm dealing with very limited information. I'm just looking at the budget
Yeah,
book
yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
provided and trying to be a private detective here, figure
Yeah.
out where the money is.
All right, so let's try to help free up some money, okay? Mr. Keaton, in your land use, your projects planning officer, there's a vacancy there.
that's correct. So across 5, we got 5 vacancies across the divisions. I'm so sorry.
We're just trying to find. Is that something you can do without to help achieve?
Yes.
Okay, so that's 52 freed up. And I think we need to revisit the math on what we need to achieve this, okay? Do you plan on hiring a deputy director of planning, or is that something you can forego a year about to help build this?
I wanted to split that up and do 2 other positions with that. So half
2 other
of it,
positions where?
a code enforcement officer.
Okay,
So
so
half of it, yes.
all right, so that means that 79,000 is free to help with the code enforcement officers.
Yeah.
All right, so that's 52. Somebody doing math with me? All right, and we got to get to,
Okay.
okay.
We interviewed someone already for that deputy
Director.
director position. And we do need somebody that has the planning background, that skill set. So, and that's something that I'd like for us to take into consideration. As we are making these changes within departments, when you start defunding positions in specific areas and then there's a deficit there where that need is in the city, we're just creating problems for those directors and being able to accomplish what it is they need to accomplish. Now, I'm all for increasing the number of code enforcement officers. We know that that is a need, a dire need within the city. We know that's a pain point for many neighborhoods and communities where they want their communities to look a certain way. And so we're all for that. But I think we have to be careful when we start taking these
Yeah, and so,
positions away.
Dr. Omar, I 100% agree with you. That's why we're not trying to take that place. And so when we ask, we're dependent on the professionalism of those directors to be able to tell us where what they can do without, what they can sacrifice. And then I was just trying to walk it line by line. And to his honesty, which I appreciate, he said, "This is my first rodeo." And so I'm just.
Yeah, no, I mean, respect. Thank you.
Yeah. So do you need some time to kind of look at?
From this perspective, absolutely.
All right. So let me tell you, like, what the other departments did. And I think, I'm about to say Dr. Wright, but Lewis Wright did he did a good job with it yesterday, huddled up, and they got with the department and they went through and say, in order to achieve this, this is kind of what we can do. This is what we can, So you, Dr. Wright, if y'all get together and kind of do that and then come back.
Please.
All right. Are there any other questions before they go huddle up on that?
Just one comment, and I'll repeat it, what I said yesterday, and that is sometimes we can use to prioritize these things. Look at the amount of constituent complaints we're getting, and if that position is directly going to impact that. Also look at areas where we can prevent the bleeding of our citizens from leaving Jackson. You're all in the planning, so you can kind of use those as some ideas of how to factor in which positions.
Thank you. Absolutely.
All right. So while we're looking at that, just in total consideration, just make sure, I think to Dr. Omar's credit, to stop the bleeding somewhere, start bleeding over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
So yeah, you're good, man. Legal is here, and then I believe we need to go into executive session as well. So colleagues, look, we have fire and planning, and then legal with salary requests that we got to find in perpetuity monies. And then I think we're almost finished with the one-time monies. We just got to make some minor adjustments. So a lot of this is not going to be as clear until we get those answers back. Do we recall what the total amount or the corrected amount was for legal that they needed? Yeah. And that's every. Okay. And are there any recommendations, Mr. Millenbeck?
Yes, and so we were actually waiting on information from risk management.
That's right.
That has been emailed.
It has been?
Yes, it has
Okay.
been emailed. And so when we look at our property insurance, last year we had that increase of where the total premium amount paid was about $2.7 million. Fortunately, through our renewal this year, the order that was passed reflected a new premium of about 2.4, right? So finance, when the budget book was printed, did not have that information. The renewal came in August. And so it does appear that we'll have some savings there. And that's, I believe, funding that can be used to satisfy legal's requests.
All right, so it's about 400,000. So, so basically the amendment is that it just stays in that department, but it goes to those salary lines. All right, and somebody's gonna make sure the clerk. What I'm saying, in general, the amendment is it goes from where to where? Spell me out a version of the amendment, or say it. Mm-hmm. So move, according to.
Second.
All right. All right, and the clerk's gonna make sure they got that. All right, it's been moving properly second on that, and we were able to handle all that within legal, so I think that's good. Any questions or comments? All right, all in favor? All right, colleagues. Councilman Griselle, what say you? I'm sorry.
Said I.
We not hearing you.
I.
Okay, we heard.
I.
All right, that's a vote of 5-0. All right, so legal, you're taking care of. Now, colleagues, we need to go into executive session for an update and then potential litigation and personnel matters. Is there a motion?
I move that we go into closed session for the purposes of discussing going into actual executive session to discuss the potential litigation and personnel matters.
All right, and it's been moving properly seconded. We're going to closed session to actually discuss going to executive session for potential personnel and litigation matters. All in favor? All right, Griselle finna call you. All right, we are now in closed session. Oh, I'm sorry. We're trying to get out of here by 1:30. Close the door, please. The council now stands out of recess. Prior to going into recess, the council was in executive session where we had discussion on potential litigation and personnel matters. No action was taken. At this point, we have fire on the table, and we have some other things that we also need to revisit so that we can hopefully wrap this up and get this voted out of committee today. All right. Clerk, remind me, with fire, we left off where? Right at salaries? I think we got the caption and everything else we need. All right. Mr. Mellenbecker, for the fire department, now that we have understanding there's 46 vacant positions. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So it was neither 51 nor neither 21. It was 46. All right. Chief, in those 46 positions, what can you do without to help achieve to help achieve the raises necessary?
First of all, I didn't know we had 46 positions, but, with it being this late, I don't know, I have to look and see, because, I
This
don't,
what we'll probably do is do a percentage compatible to what police did. Do the same percentage raise, across the board, just like police. And then as far as the reduction amount, you figure out where to take that from.
okay,
Does that make sense?
yeah, we can try to do that.
All right.
Yeah,
What police did how much what was their raise? 5%? It was 5%? Give me the amount of 5% for the fire department.
Sorry.
Across the board?
So across the board, is that what they're giving increases across the board?
For the fire department.
Okay. I know I've looked at, for an ESD, a 5% increase would represent about 659,793.
659,000.
793
793.
for ESD.
All right, now, he has here, Mr. Becker, just so you see, he has $2.7 million in vacant positions. All right. The chief has not had an opportunity to look and research his need. I see that a lot of your vacancies are lieutenants, operators, and then, but the majority of them are your firefighter twos. And you don't budget for your firefighter ones because they eventually roll up to your firefighter twos within a year, correct?
well, we were budgeted for firefighter one, but that's what we would like to do, is just to roll that money over to firefighter twos. So,
All right. Okay. This is what I would like to do, colleagues. We just take the 5%, whatever that is, out of JFD, out of their vacancies, and then just do it like that. But I'm wondering, Chief, let me ask you a question. How much do you think a study would cost to get a comparable alignment with the way things move as far as rank within the fire department?
I don't know, I have to look into it. You said a study?
Yeah.
You mean from an outside
Yeah,
agency?
I would like to set aside to have a professional study done to look at, because the problem is, and I think it has to be understood, while a recruit may come in at 42, no, a recruit in JPD, I'm just comparison, may come in at 42, he get to 50, he's stuck there for 5 years. He don't roll up to 52, 54 within a year. He's stuck at 50 for 5 years. And then it's 10 years before he can get a promotion to corporal, right? It's so the difference is, like, when we say comparable, I mean, and when you're doing the comparisons, your firefighter twos are already getting paid higher. Well, based on what was proposed, your firefighter twos will be getting paid higher than JPD.
Starting salary?
JPD starting salary is 50.
So our firefighter two is 42.
Yeah, but I'm saying based on what was proposed, what was given to the 52 at first.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? And so, but the thing is, I guess the confusion is how quickly and how swift people move up the ladder. And so it's just something, I don't know if that's something that's set by a federal standard, a state standard, or that's something that's kind of done, but what would it take to get it into a place? So if we wanted to say, annually, we want to do a 3% cost of living raise every year. We can do it without adding more complication. You see what I'm saying? And so I don't even know who's responsible for aligning it like that.
Yeah, well, firefighter twos, you know, we do all that stuff according to the vacancies that we have. Firefighter two moves up to an RDO position when RDO moves up to the lieutenant position. So, you know, that's the way that goes. And it depends. Now, actually, in our lieutenant positions and our captain's positions, all those positions on that promotional list is getting ready to run out. So once that list run out, then we're gonna probably be tasked with giving another promotion exam within the next few years.
When you say run out, they expire. That is, when you say the position run out,
The
like,
promotional list, yes, is getting ready to expire. So we still have people on that list that is eligible to be promoted if a vacancy become available.
and is there a cap set?
A cap,
There's no cap, because I assume you gotta have a lieutenant and a captain on every truck.
right.
Okay, and that's why it's like more top heavier.
No, it's not.
No, when I say top heavy, you ain't got, like, how many captains y'all got?
About 81 now.
Yeah, when I'm comparing top heavy, I'm just traditionally, when you look at military rank, like structures, you talk about captain, you ain't got no 80 captains and then 40 people on the ground. Yeah,
Let me explain it.
go ahead. No, let him explain.
Okay. It's not top heavy. Each captain supervises a unit.
Okay,
They are on the ground.
they are on the ground.
Okay.
Okay.
But now each captain also, they supervise the people that's under them. So if we were fully staffed, each captain would have a lieutenant, a relief driver, and a firefighter two that works up under them. So they would actually supervise 3 people.
So it's
that
4 on the
captain
truck.
would. If we were fully staffed, it's 4 on the truck. We're not fully staffed.
Okay. Okay.
As we are right now, that captain he's gonna supervise a captain, not himself, but the lieutenant, a relief driver, or firefighter two may be on the back of that unit. You get what I'm saying? That's the reason why you have like 40 firefighter twos and maybe 40 or 50. I think we have like a total of 120 firefighter twos and relief drivers combined. So one of the other that rank is going to be represented on the back of that truck. So you have a captain, a lieutenant, and one of the other those 2 ranks, the firefighter 2 or RDO, that will be on the truck, and that's going to make a 3-man unit that we run as minimal staffing as of right now. If we were fully staffed, each unit would have 4 people on it. I guess that makes sense. I hope it makes sense.
How many units do you have like that?
28,
28?
27.
27,
now, yes.
with each one with a truck. Did she have a truck for each one of those 27? How
Each
many?
one of those 27 is a truck.
Is a
Each-
truck.
Each unit
Okay.
is a
Is a
truck.
truck.
Is considered a unit, but when I hear truck, I think a ladder truck. That's what we call them. Each unit, you have trucks, rescues, and engines, but each
Okay.
one of them is an
Has to be-
apparatus. So each apparatus is considered a unit, and they will have that representation on it, far as
Okay.
a captain, a lieutenant, a relief driver, and a firefighter too.
Okay. Thank you.
And let me explain something else about the rank structure. If a person is in one position, say like if it's a lieutenant or a captain, that lieutenant might be in that position for a number of years. It depends on when there's a vacancy available in that captain's position. That captain might be in that position for a number of years, depending on when a vacancy become available in the district chief position. So, you know, you mentioned something about a study, but I mean, that's the way our rank structure is, and that's the way it happens, because you can't move up unless there is a vacancy.
Okay, I get it, and you know, like when we're, sometimes when you comparing, because I'm trying to see in comparing police to fire, and then like in your first case, you know, saying we want compatible to whatever police got and the parity and all that other kind of stuff. Is it really the same or is it really fair? Because budget-wise, you know, because a 5% might not achieve anything in the fire department.
Right.
Based on your rank, where it achieves everything in the police department because the majority of your police officers are patrolmen. You see what I'm saying? Because you ain't got to have a sergeant for every car.
Right.
I mean,
right.
you see what
Yeah, I
I'm saying?
understand.
And
Yeah.
so the majority of them are, and so when we budget for police, patrol one, I guess if you were to say, all we budget is that amount for that fiscal year. I can't budget firefighter one in one fiscal year for you because it's going, and so I got to do a scaled up budget, which makes it hard for us to account for what's going to happen within a fiscal year.
Right.
So colleagues, are we, so basically what the fire department is saying that a 5% raise in the police department is not the same as 5% raise in the fire department because of the different levels they have. I just,
When you
know,
say 5%, you talking about say
across the
say
board.
it, yeah. Say if you get a police department, say $180,000 to be spread among maybe 5 or 6 people, but you give the fire department $180,000, it ain't gonna work. I mean, it just don't work. So. Yeah.
What was that? I'm trying to. All right.
No, he was telling me it's something about, he was talking about in the same rank, if you gave that money to one rank. That's what he was saying. I was thinking, you know, I think you all gave the police department $100 and some $1,000, if I'm not mistaken, to be spread out among.
They sacrificed, it's a total of 684,000. They sacrificed about 520,000 within their department, and then we only had to find 144.
Oh, okay, I got you.
See what I'm saying? You know, Dr. Omari.
But that's not what a 5% increase means. It's not that they're gonna take 5% and spread it out around the department. It's like everybody would get a 5% increase.
Right.
Okay, and so there's not, we don't know what the dollar amount on that is yet, do we?
I think he's
I think they're working on that.
I think what I have, is that the 659,993?
So that's the salary line. And I think we need to include the fringe and all that. So,
Oh, that's what we're waiting on.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
We're not amendment ready yet.
right.
Okay.
That's all they're gonna give us.
All right. Any questions? Well, I mean, that's what we're waiting on. Okay. Let me try to multitask instead of wait, because I don't know how long that's gonna take. Planning. All right, planning. Last week we left off. Was it 675? Help me remember.
675, what, the amount of money?
Yeah.
So, right now, we're at 500,000.
I'm talking about what was the amount for your increase? I wrote it down somewhere. I'm writing on too many pieces of paper. Was it 800,000?
For planning?
Yeah, for planning. It was 800,000.
The amount that was asking for?
Number changed a lot during the course of the discussion.
Definitely changed.
Hold on, I'm about to find it. Is it $243,387 in raises and $644,000 for the new positions? Is that correct? That's correct? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that number,
With a total of what?
What I wrote down was, I didn't write down all the change, but the total of 834,000. What I, do you have the exact number on that?
I had
Okay, so those numbers have changed just a little bit.
But y'all sent us another change.
Right.
Y'all sent us another change.
That's the change seat right there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Every time somebody come up here, they go to whispering, they go to changing things, and I'm
wanna
just
make sure we
going.
giving
bounce,
y'all
bounce,
what
bounce.
y'all asking for. So, yes.
All right.
So we got numbers we can run with y'all right now. And they're better than
Let's
what
go.
we.
Let's go. Let's go.
So go ahead.
So we're looking at 248,000.
Ho. Too many people talk at the same time. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
All right. So for the salary increases for current employees, we're looking at 248,292. And to fund the new positions, we're looking at 505,437.47. And that totals 753,729.47.
753.
729.47. Now, that does not include the vehicles, but we talked about a master lease for that, for the 175-100.
All right. All right. So,
So we want to, before you go, we want to add that we was gonna do this in phases. So Q1, we was just gonna do the increases. So that's 248,000. The second quarter, we was gonna start hiring the new people.
Oh,
Code
I
enforcement officers.
disagree with that. We need to start hiring people right now.
Okay.
We got a calamity on our hands.
Fair enough.
So
Fair enough.
I realize
from my understanding, it's going to be hard for you to cut any of your vacant positions.
Fair enough. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right. Colleagues, we have two accounts of in perpetuity money that we can use. 44,120, which is 465,000. This is what we kind of already went over. But 44,120, which is 465,000 in savings that we can use, in addition to 44,240, which is 426,000 that we can use. I need a motion, but, so one, we would take 44,240 and use all of that.
Mr. Banks,
yes.
tell me that amount again, the whole
This-
amount again.
It's 465,000 and 44,120.
Okay.
And 426,000 and 44,240.
Ordinance 65,000. 120.
What was that other category? The first category? What was the first category you mentioned?
The 44,
Account.
44,120.
44,120.
That's operations.
Okay. Okay, all right, thank you. So we have a total of 891.
Right, and we need 758, 729, 47.
Okay,
I had 753.
753.
yeah, 753.
Okay, I'm sorry. 753, 729, 47. All right, so one of those, we would just need to take the whole 465 from. So let's just take the 465, the whole 465,000 from 44,120 to, what fund is this going to? Sharon? To,
What fund is it?
okay, y'all figure out, to the code enforcement officers, okay? Y'all figure it out and provide the information to the clerk.
We'll do.
All right, I need a motion for that.
So moved, second.
All right, it's been moving properly seconded. We take 465,000 out of 44,120 from, out of there to put into, code enforcement officers. And then I need the difference.
288, 729.
753, 729, right?
What's the difference?
The difference is 288, 729.47.
All right, so I need 288, 729 point who?
47.
Point 47 from 44 to 40
So moved. I'm sorry.
to code enforcement. All right, well, there's a motion. Where's the second?
I second.
It's been moving properly second on that item. Any comments or questions on those amendments? All in favor? Griselle? Griselle, you there? All right, let the record reflect that he's absolutely, let it reflect.
Yes, yes.
Yes. All right, so that's fine. So we got those amendments in. All right, so we're done with planning until, no, we're not done with you.
Okay.
We're not done with you.
Uh,
Talk to me about go ahead, Councilman
What
Hart.
was the balance out of those two accounts that was remaining?
Here come,
Yeah, I understand, but once we applied those two amendments, what was left over from those two, out of the 800 and money,
like 137,000.
137,000? Okay, yeah, that's what I got, so. Okay, thank you.
All right, we good?
We're good.
All right. All right. Mr. Keith, talk briefly. Talk to me briefly. Just gonna brush up on. I know we dealt with the outside. Talked about the outside venue space.
Yeah.
Yesterday, and the revenue and everything. Talk to me about the feasibility of a smaller outside venue space are similar on the lakefront at Livingston Park.
Well, it's something that could be considered in our current engagement with the architect. And I think that depends on the size and the scope. If you're talking about a wood structure, I don't necessarily know exactly what. Could it be an amphitheater? Could it just be an outside stage? Could it be improvements to the park? I think that that's something we could look at for sure and identify some funding to make it happen within what was approved the other day.
So, what would it, if we wanted to make this a sure project, to make this work, what would it take to put into a place for development to help make this happen? And then, are the current architects amenable to helping to produce something that could be seen as far as how it would look for out there?
From the architectural perspective, yes, we
Okay.
can make it look, but I would need the outcomes of that analysis of those schematics to determine what it would take to do it.
What it would take.
But I do think that it's possible to do something at Livingston Park that could be value added to the park and to that community.
Go ahead, Councilman Hart.
And do you have, I guess what I'm hearing is there is something already conceptually in a design, you might need to modify it?
They're working on the design now for, not for Livingston, but for the event space downtown. So they started this week. I
Okay.
met with them yesterday, actually. But I'm saying though, they're amenable to the city of Jackson. So for me to make that request of something that's basic, I mean, I'm willing to do that. To at
Okay.
least get us to go.
The importance of this, colleague, is that we're trying to revitalize that part of town. It's a gateway into the city, revitalization, getting more folks out there, increasing the income, but the community cohesiveness is what we're trying to maintain. And so anything that could be done to that effort would be good.
You got
Yeah.
my word that I work on that.
Okay.
If we were to fund that account, what makes this very viable and realistic? How much would you need in that account to make this very viable and realistic? Or more viable?
The Livingston Park or this?
Livingston Park.
If we talking woods, I'm trying to think of the structure, wood structures, if you're talking about outside park decks, cabanas, 150, 200,000. You start getting into steel and
Not
concrete
steel.
and cement, you know what I mean? So it just depends. So if
Yeah.
you're talking about wooden structures, what would go up at a park, gazebos,
We're
picnic
talking about
tables?
the amphitheater out there in Livingston Park.
Yeah, so I would think that you could do an amphitheater, the structure, when you're talking about seating, you're just talking
No,
about.
no.
Okay, cool. So for a structure, I think you could do $150,000 to $200,000. You have a nice structure, a stage area where people can go out and have community events and rallies, and clean it up and put you some picnic tables and benches out there. I think you can do that for $200,000.
I think that's maybe a little bit conservative.
Fair enough.
If we put aside 500,000 to account for you to do it, you good?
Absolutely, we'd love to.
And that includes the finishing of a rendering and the actual
Construction.
construction.
Yeah.
All right, and of course, you'll be working along with,
Muhammad,
Dr. Muhammad.
Brother
and-
Muhammad, yeah.
And then also visit Jackson.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Colleagues, what's your thoughts about that Fund 376? Taking 500 out, put it into this for the Livingston Park development. 376 is the contingency from Siemens. Yeah. All right. So, is that a motion?
So moved.
All right, it's been moved and properly second that we take 500,000 to put in, and Sharon, what account that goes on? What account that goes? It's for development. It stay there, but you just. So 6824. All right. So the motion is from 376 to 6824. All right. Just to make sure. So we got that. We got the motion in the second for that. Any objections to that motion in the second? All right.
No, just a comment. Look, you know, this is critical. We have to keep our kids off the streets, especially over there in West Jackson, South Jackson as well.
Yeah.
And so this is one way to ensure we can bring in additional income to the city, guaranteed income. We can stabilize the community and keep our kids off the streets. And I'm hoping you're right about those figures, because sometimes I don't like coming back and say, well, no, we were a little bit off. So you think that amount will do it?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, and Mr. Keith, if we can move on this, what I kind of see is, you know, Muhammad talked about the lighting at the lake at Livingston Park. That hopefully we can have a Juneteenth fireworks show with entertainment right there at Livingston Park.
Absolutely. I could see this being done within 6 to 12 months. So yeah, absolutely.
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. Any other questions or
It's a
comments?
good project.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you. Is there anything else?
I hope not. It's been enough.
Now's the time.
You sure you don't want nothing else?
Now's the
Want to
time.
go check where you can come back? Okay. All right. Make sure the money that we used out of 376, somebody's keeping a tab on it. You got? All right. Fire, we ready? All right. Tell me what we got, what we need. Tell me how we really work this.
Let me say this. If we were to make any cuts from the department with where we are now, number one, it's gonna affect our ISO rating. We just got a report from ISO, and they were saying that there are a lot of things that we need to do in order to not go to a class 4, okay? We're at a class 3 right now, and it's a high 3, and we're going to a 4. If we do that, you know the insurance rate's gonna go up, right? For businesses and residents. So I just wanted to make that clear, that if we did that, because what we're looking at, if we have to cut some positions, In order to do that, we're probably gonna have to, move some people around and shut down a unit or two. And if we do that, that's gonna hurt our insurance rating even more, because they are looking at us, they're looking at us hard. And so I just wanna make that clear, that that's what's gonna happen if we were to do what we're talking about doing. My thing really would be if we could come up with the funding to give an across-the-board raise rather than a percentage raise. That would be my suggestion, if we could come up with the funding to do that. Without cutting positions, yes. So,
All right. Help me out here, Chief.
I'm still not sure, if I understand the difference between a percentage increase, in this case, we're talking 5%, versus across the board increase. I just, it's, you know,
yeah, well, when you do a percentage increase, the way our salary structure is now, it throws everything out of whack, because the lower people will get the less money, and then as you go up the line, the people that are higher up will get more, because, you know, it's,
okay,
So-
okay, I understand where you're coming from then. So, if the dollar amount was gonna be, I forget what the number, if the dollar amount was gonna be 426,000, let's say, 948, how would you,
Hold on.
would it do it per person?
Hold on 1 second. Guest KNFKM9BCX, can you mute? Go ahead.
So so would you prefer to divide the 426,978, which is 5% of the payroll, I think, into the number of people and then pay them all an increase of whatever it is, you know, $2,000 or something like that?
yeah. It's
I'm
not gonna,
trying to understand where you're coming from, that's all.
right. I understand what you're saying.
So that it would not be, you know, progressive or whatever, regressive or whatever the term is.
Right. Yeah, that's not gonna give them a lot of money. You know, I mean, $400-some thousand is not gonna.
Yeah, I understand.
We'd have to,
I understand.
yeah. I mean, across the board, we would, you know, I was looking at more funding than that.
Yeah, we just don't have the $3.5 million that y'all put down in your request.
Yeah,
Was that number correct?
the 3.5 million, yeah, for the $10,000 across the board raise we were talking about.
Mr. Banks,
Go ahead, Councilman.
most organizations would give about a 3 to 5% increase, regardless of what somebody's current salary is. I do want to send a message that, you know, we want to support fire, we want to support police, but I just think a $10,000, teachers don't even get that. And I just think, you know, we need to find a good compromise here, and then maybe try to come back next year, and maybe the year after that, so that we can eventually get to that place. But right now, we just don't have it.
You know that's 20% of your budget, your entire budget.
Yeah, you mean the 3
Just the
point,
raises.
yeah.
Just the raises. And that's what is that? That's 19.
Shouldn't have been about a 24% pay increase on the payroll.
Any other questions or comments? So tell me, we can't do the 3.5, right? You know, you're saying that you're not able to sacrifice any of your vacant positions,
Right.
and it's 46. You thought you had 21.
Right. That's what
So,
I thought.
hold on. Let me ask you this question then. Let me ask you this question. If you thought you had 21 and you would have been fine with that, now that you have 46, can't you just still pretend like you got 21 and let us use the other part to get a raise?
Yeah. Well, I told you I'd look at that. That, you know,
We got to make a decision.
you gotta make.
What you tell me to look at?
I'm-
Huh?
Yeah.
We had a-
Yeah.
All right, do this, okay? Look, he thought he had 21 positions. You got 46. Take them other positions, figure out what that is, and let us know. How soon can y'all have an answer?
And give us at least a $5,000 raise.
We got to see where we gonna get the money from, Chief. I mean, we got to see where we're gonna get the money from. You see what I'm saying?
I
mean,
Mr. Banks,
yes, sir.
with all due respect, time is winding up.
I hear you, preacher. That's why, I mean, yeah. Look, that's 46 minus 21. How many positions that is?
Mr. Banks,
Yes.
can we get with the fire department to look through the vacancy list and identify what could be given up? Do you mind?
Somebody,
Yeah, so if you just step back there.
find 25 positions. I need 25 positions. Huh? I need 25 positions in the amount, ASAP. 25 positions. Yes. He thought he had 21. He found out he was blessed with 25. I just took the blessing back.
25, that's a lot of money.
25 positions. Yeah. All right.
It comes up to $850,000 if you use the FF1 salary.
All right. Yes. All right. So we need that ASAP. What? All right. Because I'm losing track here. What have we not covered? IT. Let's go back to IT and human and culture. All right. IT. Where you at? She's there? She's not there? Oh, there she is. All right. IT. Talk to me. Based on where we left.
All right. Great day, everybody. So we left off at pretty much the budget. I would like for you all to look at page 310 in the budget book.
Hold on.
And I may need Sharon to help out with this. Page 310. Okay, are we on 310?
I am.
Okay, thank you. I think Councilwoman Lindsay is still getting there. No, you're fine. Thank you. Okay, so on page 310, the line item 6911, that $1 million comes out of our budget. We don't even use this line item, and we don't use line item 6753 either, which is that 1.4 million. Those two line items we do not use. So roughly our operating budget is like $2.1 million for us to operate for the year. Those line items go to other funds. Well, one is the loan. The one on 6911 is the loan, and the 6753 goes to another fund.
So out of this, is there anything available?
No, sir. We're scraping. We are really struggling.
Okay, all right.
All right.
And that's one reason why I want, if you were going to do away with the vacancies, then I would need that money to stay in IT so that we can provide services citywide. I did go back and look at the salaries, and I'm recommending 6 positions that need to be increased. And this is based off Memphis, Tennessee. And that is in the packet that I emailed over to you all. I emailed it to Ms. Shanikia.
We got, yeah, pass that out to us.
We have.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so many papers up, I'm sorry.
She,
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they're passing that out, I do want to point out that
is that
I have, right. So I've done some restructuring here. And once you get the packet, there are areas that I have actually consolidated and restructured. So the deputy director position, what I did with that, I used it to cover some bills and invoices that we had that came before the city council and it was approved. So we're utilizing that salary for bills. The training area and research and development, those positions, I did not refill those positions. I've consolidated support services. So instead of having, I think it was 6 people back there, we only have 3. And that's based off the ticket numbers. Basically, there was not enough work coming through for 6 people. So when people were leaving, based on the data from the ticketing system, 3 would suffice. And so that's what we're working with there. Network and phone support has been consolidated with server administration. So server administration now houses server admin, cybersecurity, phone support, network support, and infrastructure. So those, they have been grouped together. We also started merging telecommunications and operations. That started this month. So there are some areas that we've done a lot of consolidating and realigning. And I think, I can't remember which council person mentioned that about consolidation. So actually we have been doing that and we're looking to see what works and what is needed. In the packet, like I said, the salary requests are based on Memphis, Tennessee. I don't know if you all want me to go through all of those, but it totals.
That's not necessary, because we can see it. Mr. Miller-Becker, you have it?
I have the email version.
All right.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
This division falls under you,
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
What's your recommendation?
Yes. So one, Dr. Reed, and we'll have to have some conversations on this. The salaries that I presented, right, I think are showing a comparison in terms of positions, right, in IT, in the IT world. However, you know, these salaries obviously, I mean, for any of it to be applicable to the city, you know, would require job studies, and you have to look at other comparison regions, right, to come up with what would be more realistic for the city of Jackson. Because of course those salaries, the comparable salaries, are outside all the ranges that the city, you know, has.
Correct.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, and I know in some cases we do range study, and I just want to make sure that, you know, we asked, I don't know if it's more so consolidation, but more so if we were to cut some positions for her to kind of reimagine how it can be used.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, I am asking that I'm allowed to keep 4 business system analyst position and the executive office coordinator.
Okay, I see that at the bottom, keep requests.
So I noticed on the budget that your budget proposed in the book increases by $160,000. So does that reflect some of the things you want to do? Otherwise, maybe you weren't involved with coming up with that number of 1,000,005 57.
It's my understanding that Ms. Sharon and her team have made some accommodations to the IT budget.
So how many, this addition in the budget book of $160,000, how does it relate, how's that compare to what you're trying to do right now? So is some of the stuff already incorporated in this increase in the salaries for personal services?
So actually, that won't be enough because this year, just alone, we will have to renew our firewall, and we did that 3 years ago, and the amount for that for a three-year term would be $350,000.
Turn on your mic.
Yeah, turn your mic on, Councilman Foot.
No, I'm not talking about the technology equipment or whatever, or software. I'm just talking about salaries here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood you. Could you repeat that question again?
Yeah, the line item on page 307, the bottom line, there's a salary line at the top. You go from 24 to 25, it doesn't change at all. But this line item at the bottom of the page, information systems administration, personal services, the salary for 2024, they adjusted it down, but now I see that the original budget was $1,557,896, and now they've got that back to the $1,557,000. But I was looking at the revised budget in 24 of $1,398,000. So maybe there's,
That's the Office of
$1 million of it. So it's like you're way down as far as spending it. Okay.
That's the Office of Publications.
Mr. Foote, if you also look on page 308,
Okay.
there was a redistributed salary where 3 of her people used to be paid out of water sewer.
Really?
Water sewer no longer exists, and they're not doing those duties anymore. So that 169 had to now come from general fund, instead of it being redistributed to water sewer. Because either you have to let those employees go, or you got to bring them back into the general fund.
Is this some of the employees were being reimbursed on?
No, we were. There was 3 that was working. Wasn't there 3, Dr. Reed, that was assigned to water sewer?
Yes.
And that was 169 that used to be redistributed to water sewer, but they no longer exist.
Do they actually exist in real life, though? Do the employees still work for Jackson?
Yes.
Okay.
They have been reassigned, and they have information technology tasks
Okay.
in roles. Yes.
So that's, the 169 of that is, almost 170. That's part of that increase.
The increase at the bottom of the page of 308?
Yeah, the
279?
2255,
I see.
yeah, because the 169, 656 had to come back into the general fund.
Okay.
And then some of that is the PERS increase. And then I think there was some salary increases to somebody or something, I think is what Brandon said.
Yes.
So that's what increased that.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right. The total amount of her vacancies represent how much, Mr. Mellenbeck?
I think it was $675,832.
$832?
Yes.
That's the total amount of their vacancies?
Yes.
Colleagues, I like to hear your thoughts on this. Your thoughts, what your thinking is on this division.
So she's asking, I'm looking at the sheet here again, and she's asking for salary increase of $415,000. That's, and I assume that's in addition to whatever's in the budget book. Is that correct? Because we talked
Yes,
about a lot of
that's
different things. So you got these different things you've got here. You got some vacancies, but in addition to what's in the budget book of salaries, which is pretty significant, about 2.5 million. You want another 415,000. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Councilman Harley?
Yeah, Dr. Reed, just one quick question, 50 words or less. From a novice standpoint, what are you telling the city and the constituents that they're getting for this?
So we are in charge of making sure that the data is secured throughout the city,
Okay,
whether it
that's
be
12 words.
employees.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
12 words.
You want me to be short?
Right.
Okay. We make sure that all the information that the city has flowing through the city is secure. And
Okay,
that you are
what change are we getting out of this?
we're able to upgrade our systems that we have. Like, for example, now we're able to monitor when we have outages. We're able to identify those pretty quickly. We are really just moving from legacy systems, which are older systems, to the newer systems.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And there's a part of your department that's responsible for connecting the revenue for tech fund, right?
Correct.
And how many positions is that?
Right now it's 2.
They're filled?
No, one is not, and the other one will be posted soon.
Okay. And you plan on using those 2 positions, I assume so, because it generates revenue.
Correct.
Okay. Colleagues, any other questions or comment? Help me understand, and I just want to understand historically, and if somebody can compare to me the difference. IT became a department when?
Say 2 years ago.
Why? Where was it then? Before?
Under finance.
Why did it change? I just want to understand from historical context.
If I may.
Yes,
Yes. So IT was essentially a division under administration and finance. And what the administration thought of was, if you think of technology, right, the advent of technology, in pretty much every organization, you get a lot of effectiveness out of technology department. And so it was thought of to actually separate that, right, and make it an independent department. And there was no increase in terms of money, right? Same thing we did with like right away, just moved it to a separate, separate division or department.
Well, it became his own department.
It became, right.
Instead of going in another division.
Yes, right.
Okay. Forgive me because I'm just trying to gather everything in. All right. And all of her vacancies equal 675,000, and she is requesting 420,000 out of that 675 for these salary increase. Colleagues, how many? I need straw polls so I can know how to navigate. How many would support this presentation? Yay or nay? Not you? No. So we have no support for it. Okay. What is likely? I mean, she has the 20 positions. I know that there was a recommendation to cut, and I know that there have been some concerns, but I mean, and I don't know if I'll need the question, but are there any questions or anything to help you get to a place of what a good recommendation would be for this department.
I think if, technology-wise, if we needed upgrades to our personnel to get at a certain level, including training and certifications, then I think the raises may be in line. Maybe, again, this is a lot to process here and to understand, so.
I do want to say most of us pay for our own certifications out of our pockets. So, I mean, we're not waiting. I know for me, I'm not waiting on, the city to do that, because sometimes it just needs to be done when new technology comes out. Then
That's what I'm saying. If we have a need technology-wise for the increases, then I'm fully supportive of that.
Help me understand the lag, the revenue, and we discussed this some this morning, but the revenue that IT used to generate or was generating, in what, was there a significant decline, or did the city just start buying so much software and stuff that before we knew it, we're like, we went over budget?
Yeah, just from historical perspective, there has not been a significant decline in the actual revenue for a technology fund for the tower rentals. And what we've seen now is somewhat of an increase as these contracts have been renewed at a slightly higher rate. So we are beginning to see, some increases in tower rentals. But with the question you asked specifically, what happened, there was this imagination of consolidating all the ERP, enterprise resource planning systems, that was within the city. Each department had its own software, and it was thought of as being expensive, right? And so the city went to the practice of consolidating to save money, and Munis was identified as that particular ERP, right? Now, of course, it came at a cost, and the city borrowed money to procure that system. And so that's where you see this debt service. You're now paying back that loan for implementing this new ERP system. Yeah.
All right. Did we ever get a list of the debt service? Did we ever get a list of the debt service? We have not gotten a list of debt service. Go ahead.
Mr. Millenbecker,
Yes.
now, this department comes under you, right?
Yes.
And from your standpoint, have you examined the technology requirements and the direction, the flow charts, the raises? Have you examined all these carefully?
Yeah, so the latest report that Dr. Reed shared, and I've not had a conversation with her, she sent it to me. I think the question was asked to provide a comparison of, right, if you're really trying to elevate IT, what is a comparable salary, right? So that's what she
Okay,
did,
but
yeah.
here we use Memphis. Larger
Yes.
population and definitely a whole lot more revenue.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
I would be more comfortable with some place like Shreveport or Birmingham or some other place.
Yeah,
Memphis, I think that's a little bit out of our category.
yeah.
Mobile?
Yeah,
Okay.
HR actually has the list, right? They would typically do this.
And I'm curious, are these positions targeted towards the direction, or what about the other divisions within IT? We got telecommunication personnel.
Yeah.
We have publications. We have other divisions as well. I mean, how do we go about this?
Yeah, no, that's why I mentioned that, for it to be applicable to the city, more work would need to be done. In fact, you have to do that specific job study, not only, comparing the geographies that mirror Jackson, but also internally within the city. So those salaries have to mirror, what the city pays. Yeah. So there'll need to be more work.
So what I'm hearing is that this is not quite ready.
Right, in terms of specific ask,
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Let me ask a
Go ahead.
question, please. So when I add these salary lines together, it looks like it comes up to according to the budget book, $2 million in salaries. So I added 1, 2, 3 lines that I saw as salaries. So, and of that, you've got 20 vacancies. So how much, maybe that's, I don't know how many people that would be. You want to, and you're overseeing the tech fund, so part of your budget is covered by the tower rentals and other, and cable franchise fees or whatever, correct? Is that right? Is that like $4 million?
So this actually different, separate, right? So
Okay.
what Dr. Reed is managing under general fund is, in fact, page 309, that will be your general fund, IT, information technology.
3.29 million.
Right.
Okay, so the rest, and then there's, when you get to the other, next page,
That is the technology fund.
that includes so some of this is covered by the tower rentals and all,
So
correct?
this particular budget, this expense budget, has to correspond with the revenue that comes in
Okay,
for towers.
okay.
And in this technology fund, there is an appropriation that comes back to general fund to
Okay.
support, some of what you would say the IT.
So the general
department.
fund's kind of is paying 3.296 million or something like, is that right? Is that-
Right, the general fund
That's-
covers this IT portion,
Okay.
right? Yes.
All right, that's helpful, okay. I understand the desire to, I want to make sure that your slots, that you are paying the right level so you can attract the expertise you need to, in the tech area that and it requires, you got to be competitive in the marketplace. But if you've got 20 vacant slots, I guess one of the things I'm trying to get an understanding of, you're asking for a salary increase of $415,000. And then there's also a request for professional services for $150,000, and that's not clear to me what that is. Whether it's an architect, whether it's lawyers, whether it's accountants, I have no idea. And then there's also a request for a feasibility study, and I'm not sure, maybe I wasn't listening or something, but that's $700,000 there. Feasibility for what, I'm not sure. And so if you're operating right now, how is your ability to operate being degraded by the fact that you got 20 empty slots? Are those slots that will be filled if you increase the salaries? And what will you be able to accomplish if you fill those slots? I guess those are some of the questions that I'm just still somewhat foggy about. Clear? What I said?
Yeah, it is. I think what needs to happen is, the biggest problem we have as a city right now is we need revenue, and we need to capitalize on areas that bring revenue. Now, there are labor-strong departments where it might not generate revenue, but it has the labor necessary to help make sure service gets done, like infrastructure. They provide the labor necessary to make sure streets and everything, but it doesn't generate revenue. And so in here, the focus over here in IT, one is to make sure that we're capturing everything that we can with the assets that we have. One, the towers, but the other is the fiber underground and the dark fiber that we need to begin to start working with to start capturing more revenue. And Mr. Bellabeck, I think that you have to restructure this department in such a way where its focus is not just 20 people, 15, 10 people. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm just trying to just say how I see it, going around fixing computers and troubleshooting areas. Yes, we all need that, but at the end of the day, we could have a part-time person within all departments that deal with that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I think we got to have forward thinking going forward. But we need to, there needs to be a drill down focus and appropriation on things that would generate revenue, towers and fiber. You know, and I think like that 180,000 for the fiber, yeah, we got to fund that. We got to make sure that's there. And anything that's in there when it comes to IT or when it comes to tech development, maybe we call it a tech development department, whatever, you know, because in a minute, AI is going to have it where they working on your computer from some remote location and it comes with your subscription, right? So we need to we need to work on that. On this other side, I see a problem is with publications, which is another revenue generator. But then when you talk about publications within the system, this is me, publications, marketing, communications all go hand in hand, right? And then if anybody from the outside or anybody wants to come in and get those dollars, you want to make sure you're able to have that. And then so when you think about publications within any type of entity, you're thinking about a central location, right? And so I know that there's been a lot, but there's several burdens that are put on. One, there's this overwhelming expense that's hunting IT that used to cover the IT stuff for every department. Now every department is having to create its own. As council members and as clerks, we had to create our own line item just to deal with stuff and get it on our own because we knew it was strapped over here. And so it's not working currently. And so I would like to hear from you, your suggestion on how we deal with this. And colleagues, I think that we need to make a decision quickly on what we see. I mean, and I wanted to see if there could be something presented that makes sense in 2024 for where we're going, and not just preserving positions, you know, and everything. But I want to see it do it. But then I want to see the outline of plan that will focus on our revenue, those things. So I want to hear from you.
Yeah, yeah. So, and Dr. Reed actually has different versions of, you know, an outline.
She laid out some good plans.
Yeah, and you know, a truly, I think even when you think about the skills level, right? Given where salaries are, at times it would be a challenge to, you know, hire extremely skilled folks. And so the imagination there is determining, you know, whether we would need to have certain positions filled, or do you contract some work, right? And that's been a lot of the imagination.
All right, now we're having some conversation. And you know what? I don't want to get into the place of making a decision on keeping slots open or what's contracted. That's on y'all's side of the field. We can jump into that. But when you have a division just so small, you know what I'm saying? Or well, no, it's not a division. It's the size of a division, but it's actually a department. And you know, and I was asking the questions. This is no hit on Dr. Reed. I just wanted to get reminded on why do we move it? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And because when you ask that, then the question is, why was it there in the first place? And there had to be some reason why we're stuck there, and that we sometimes shoot ourselves or begin to shoot ourselves in the foot by making moves. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody can't manage assets the same way, and everybody can't manage people the same way, and some people can manage contracts and move things along. You know what I'm saying? Because there are different skill sets for different people. I'm not trying to categorize Dr. Reed as either one or other. I don't personally all the way know. But I'm just saying it's just different stuff for different folk. And so where we are is there's some vacancies. We got to find some money. right? Right now, IT used to be in the place where it was able to handle all these things. It's over budgeted and it's basically in the hole and it's a cramp to the budget. How do we fix it? That's a question.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so one, obviously, for technology fund in particular, is revenue. To take on any additional cost, right, because it's a fund, a separate fund, it would rely on revenue. And so there has to be focus there with increasing revenue. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but anyway, I think the major part is revenue generation.
How do we scale this department to get there?
Yeah. So several things. One, really looking at, even with our tower rentals, I know there is an ordinance that needs to come out of this body with our licensing within the city. This whole thing, cable, the Comcast issue. I think there's an opportunity there to generate revenue. There is an opportunity to generate revenue through monetizing dark fiber. And our federal lobbyist is working with the Grants Division and IT to explore, right, how the best methodology to monetize our dark fiber.
Aren't we missing about 30% of that opportunity now, though?
Are we missing it?
Yes. And the reason why I say is because most cities, when they monetize their dark fiber, you know what they run their dark fiber against? Their water and sewer infrastructure. And while they're digging while they're digging out water and sewer, we should be running our dark fiber right alongside of it so we can start making money. But instead, we're going to go back and dig up ground again just to do it, and it's going to cost more money. So I mean, the department is hurting. We had a conversation. I had a conversation with Dr. Reed, and I'm hurt. We need money. I'm going to ask for more money. But I'm trying to see how this can work and what is a realistic, recommendation for us, and it's under your purview. That's why we're asking.
Can I jump in? I'm sorry, you don't see my hand raised.
Please.
Okay, yeah, I just want to say, I heard a lot of issues being raised about why this was sent out to departments and all of that. And I do think with the Munis contract, that took a lot of the funds to bring Munis online. That took a lot of the dollars from the technology fund. And that's a huge expense annually for the city, having that system in place. I agree 100% that we have to figure out how we can size our departments in a way that they operate efficiently and continue to provide the services that we expect them to provide for our residents. So the technology fund took a hit, which was why they started asking departments to cover those expenses. But the problem was that those expenses were not in departmental budgets. And I am facing that right now, like with the City Works contract for 311 and a couple of other contracts. I think those kinds of technology-based contracts that deal with software and things like that, I think they should be in IT because they have the expertise to evaluate the software, how it can interact with other software that we're using. I think that's what that department is. But I also think that there are certain things that can be farmed out. Like we went to Microsoft Office 365, and I don't know whether you've noticed, but since we went to Office 365 for email, we haven't had those days where email is down or At some points in time, it was a week where email is down. Those kinds of things have not occurred since we decided to do that kind of contracting. I guess, and I thought the department was huge for what we were getting out of IT. Like when we wanted to redo the website, we ended up having to have it redone in communications. Now, this is prior to Dr. Reed coming. We ended up having to do that when we had about 40, 50 people sitting over in IT. So I think we do have to look at all of those things as we budget. And I appreciate the effort that's being made to do that in this budget season. But I also think, like I said earlier, we have to listen to those department directors as to what they need to function properly, because we don't want them ending up saying that we took things from them that they needed. So I think that what Dr. Reed is asking for, she's asking for things that she needs. And I just like to offer that. Oh, it was one more thing, but it slipped my mind. President Banks, you said something. Oh gosh. Okay, it'll come back to me, I guess. But
Was it concerning publications?
no, no, it wasn't publications. But it'll probably come back to me.
Did it deal with contracting some of this out?
No, I'm okay with that, especially our cybersecurity. I think we need to have some aspect of that contracted out.
So let me say, and I know that some of these salary requests, we would have to, I mean, I know that some of them might have been at a step 5, and we talked about this, Dr. Reed. Some of them might have been at step 5, but would take a salary range. I did not, though, however, foresee some of these call for like a 50% or a 60% increase, like someone going from like 60,000 to 120,000. And go ahead.
Dr. Reed, let me just jump in real quick, Dr. Reed. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to point out is that, IT is a very highly valued skill set.
Okay.
And we won't be able to keep people, and we can't compete with the private sector, but if we want the right people in place, we do have to pay them. And then the other piece I wanted to say, when you were talking about the dark fiber, our dark fiber is already in the ground.
All over?
We don't have to, yeah, it's
all
there,
over.
it's just not lit up.
Yeah, I don't think it's all over because we still having to run it.
Well, we have to run fiber to certain places, but it's okay. Let me just say this. It's my understanding that part of what was done for the city of Jackson as a result of federal dollars that came in from Katrina was a dark fiber network.
It's about 35 to 40% of achievement. We got about 60% left to go. After that, the money came in, it's a whole lot more. That's why. But when I was and I was pointing to that example for more capitalization, because the optics and the fiber changed. But then also, I think it's important that we fund the $188,000 request for the fiber repairs that's in here now. Is that correct? That's in here now, right? I'm looking for somebody.
It is.
No, in the budget book it's 150, and she wants to increase it to.
So she needs an additional 188 to repair that.
No, she wants to increase it by 38. It's my understanding.
Oh, you just increased it by 38.
She's got it listed here at 188, but my understanding is that it's already in the budget book for 150, and she wanted to increase it by 38,000.
That's correct. That's correct, Councilman Foote. That is correct.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. I don't think we did that. Let's go ahead and do that from that Fund 376 take that 38,000 and put it over into IT.
So moved.
All right, it's been moving properly second that we take the 38,000 from 376 to put in, to allocate for the fiber repair in IT. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let the record reflect that we do have a full a full quorum. The other two, the president and vice president are just on virtually.
Fund 376, is that?
Yeah, that's that same fund that we kind of been using all day. So as far as your one-time costs, was that it? Okay, I see here. Fiber maintenance. So you have your 255 in computer software, and then your 150 professional service. That's contract work.
We actually have some contracts that, well, renewals that's coming up. One is our firewall, Barracuda, and we'll do an upgrade to Chronos this year. So it will help with the cost.
Okay. All right. So with the 20 vacant slots, and what you've done was you've taken the 20 vacant slots, and you've you looked at some comparables to competitive salaries, and you want to back that up to achieve raises. Is that correct?
Yes, that's
Now,
correct.
Let me ask this question citywide first of all. Any some of these raises knock the city out of whack, right? Because you have like a network manager making more than a director.
Sometimes you have to do that. Technology.
So these are specialized skills, and these positions cover more than just one area of technology. They are managing multiple areas of technology.
Yeah. You know, when we were discussing, we were talking yesterday, I was thinking in the consolidation that out of those 20 vacant positions, that maybe like 5% could go toward the raises. But in some cases, this is 100% increase.
Yes. You didn't say what city to research. I just chose one. I mean, either way it goes, no matter where you look, the salaries are going to be high. Memphis?
They have a FedEx.
Yeah, that's not a comparable. You got to choose a comparable in population.
Okay. Do you have one? I'll be glad to.
Little Rock,
Look it up.
Mobile.
Okay.
Rock, Mobile.
Montgomery.
Yeah, Montgomery. Yeah, no. Memphis got what? 2.2 million people.
I just chose. You asked, I chose, and that was it. But I have no problem with taking your recommendation and looking into those cities.
Yeah. All right, you gonna work.
Yes, I mean, to actually give increases, right, we'll have to work through HR, and orders have to be created for the city council to approve the new ranges. So that's what would need to happen for raises to happen.
All right, so let's move this on. Colleagues, the conversation, colleagues, was taking the 20 positions and freeing that money up. Is that still on the table, or do you want, tell me your thoughts on those positions. You want to do 10, 15, freezing any, don't freeze none? I need to know your thoughts so I can know where we're going with this.
So on these particular, or?
No, she had 20 vacant positions.
Yes.
Well, her recommendation was to take the 20 vacant positions and to fund this.
No, she's not trying to take away though. I thought she had the salary increase so she could fill those 20 vacancies. That's what I thought.
But where was the salary increase money coming from?
I don't know.
So the only other place it could come from is within her own budget.
Well,
Unless we go take from the mayor's office.
I say we close 10 of those vacancies and put it.
Dr. Amari, can we have the money from you to fill Ms. Reed budget request?
Part of it.
She's not gonna answer me, is she?
Absolutely not.
So yeah, we gotta get the money.
Absolutely not.
We gotta get the money from somewhere. Yeah.
So one is, I don't know if it's a point of correction here. I know yesterday the amount was adjusted from, I think 903 to 675. The number was not adjusted. I understand it's supposed to be 11 vacant positions and not 20, right?
Whoa. So
because the 675 it actually appears to be closer to the 11 instead of 20.
yeah. So
Oh, I don't have that written down.
no, in the
So I'm asking to keep 4 business system analyst position and the executive office coordinator
all right.
out of that 20. That's what I'm asking to keep.
Hold on.
Oh, I just keep just
No,
5 of them.
you run it. We're running into the same problem that the fire department had. It seems like. So it's not 20 vacant positions.
Verify with Brandon. Yeah, because this number 675 when it was 11. Okay.
So it's all right. So colleagues, it's not 20 vacant positions. It's 11 vacant positions. And it's 675,000 and not the 903,000. Okay. And a 5% of her budget is 397,000, basically. Right? Of information technology. Is that 5%? Or am I wrong?
1 second.
5% of, you're talking about the total budget, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's 164,000. 5% of what? 3.2 million?
Of her whole entire budget.
Not
Excluding tech fund, general fund, IT. Not including Fund 4. Because Fund 4 doesn't have any salaries. Fund 4 is all subscriptions and all that stuff, yeah.
You gave me 397,000 the other day.
390.
You gave me 397,950.
Oh, no, you had asked what's the percentage of 7.9. I think you had included tech fund. When
I asked about 5%, and then you said 397, and I asked 10%, you said 659.
Yeah, so I think you were looking at information technology on page 311.
Okay.
That includes a tech fund. That's 7.9. Because when you ask what's the percentage of 7.9, but that includes tech fund.
All right.
But without tech fund, it's 3.2. The general fund, IT, not including Fund 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So like page 309.
All right, colleagues.
Just my thought is I'm a little cautious. I mean, I heard Mr. Mellenbecker. We talked about the need to make some org changes.
Right.
And I just feel, unless we give folks across the board, then I'm not seeing where we are particularly putting this, especially in light of the discussion concerning, the revenue generating portions versus the technology generation versus the comparison to Memphis versus Freeport. I don't see how we're going to, or what numbers we're actually looking at this point.
Yeah, to actually figure out exactly what the recommended number would be, right? HR would do the job study.
Right, and I know that, but, for the sake of time, we don't have the time for this budget.
Right.
So I'm wondering which way do we proceed as of now? Because we see that there's a need to restructure. We see that there's discussions, and we see that, okay, there may be folks that need, to be bumped up. But I'm wondering, how do we approach this now? Because we can't use this.
This is what we try not to do. Like we kind of did the fire department like this, but I'm trying to give you the opportunity, because and Dr. Reed, all right. So she got 11 vacant positions, equals 675,000, right? She also want to achieve some raises, right? And there's some other stuff that got to be funded because I think we only did one request, and that was the 38,000. But then there's some other stuff that she has down here that she wants to be funded. What's your recommendation on finding that money?
Yes. So when what I said,
I mean, because we got to find it somewhere.
Yeah.
So the one-time money, I think we might can figure that out.
right.
But your in perpetuity salary, where we get it from?
Yeah, so that will come from the vacant positions. And the way to do it is, I mean, you leave that intact because the job studies need to be done, and we need to have what those appropriate salaries will be. And once you have that, you can essentially use the unspent funds in salaries to give raises, just like we've been doing, over the last couple of years at least, to achieve raises.
So how many of those 11 positions do we need?
So if you think,
Dr. Reed, Fidelis,
Yeah.
I mean, Mr. Benbert, out of those 11 positions, that's 675,000. Are we talking about all 11 and then letting her try to achieve that? I mean,
yeah, looking at the,
and I don't think legally we're gonna be able to do this
right,
right now.
we're not.
We could do some. And so when I talk about the pay range change, it's like, to me, if someone's making 58 and you want to take them to 60, but 58.5 is their max, then yeah, let's do the pay range, but not take them from 50 to 150.
Yeah. Yeah, because I see the request, the salary increase request was like 415,000. So I would say from the vacant positions, right, that's where we would take that money from. However, it is not, we're not prepared today because we got to do the job study to determine how much that would need to be. But we know roughly she's requested 415, and to fund that, using it, coming from inside the actual department is vacancies.
All right. Madam President, are you still on?
Yes, sir.
Madam President, do you mind if this becomes one of the departments that we don't deal with now and we deal with in the actual special council meeting?
Well, we could do that, Mr. Banks, or we could go in ahead and, we can see how far down the road we get today. I'm hoping we can still vote on the budget at 2:00 on Monday afternoon. But if we really get landlocked, or brain locked, then we may need to postpone that vote again. But for now, the answer is yes. We can certainly deal with this amendment during the special council meeting to approve the budget.
All right. Yes, go ahead, Councilman.
This is for Dr. Reed and everyone else. It would, this is a different department because of the technical qualifications you need for some of the jobs in the tech arena, that skill sets are different, and that you have to pay more for them because they can make, a lot more money if they can fix somebody's computer network or whatever. And so this is a summary, but what would be helpful to me would be more specifics. In other words, I've got 4 IT jobs, and here they are, 1, 2, 3, and 4, that for me to fill those, I need to be able to pay them, $72,000 a year or $62,000 or whatever it might be, rather than just salary increase $415,000 for a grab bag for 20 jobs. So that would be helpful to me for discussion on Monday to say, here's the pay raise or the pay schedule for the vacant slots, but I can't fill those slots because the individual pay level of $40,000, I can't go out and hire a database specialist that can, run, whatever program it is, or this software or something like that. So that because of the unique nature of the technology arena, these sort of broad, salary increase I don't even know how many jobs it's for $415,000. I don't know how. I mean, here you got building repairs, $800. Now I can get my hands around $800 for a building repair, or $375. That's probably 3 or 4 oil changes. I don't know, but to have a big number like 415 and not have any specifics really is difficult for me to get confident with. So I would consider, and then professional services, is that legal, accounting? I have no idea. So some more specificity in this would be helpful to me in understanding, what we're trying to accomplish and what the deliverables would be. So I have no idea what it's difficult for me. I want my email fixed when it goes down, but the deliverables here for the IT department, I'm not really clear what those are. So if you could, the more specific you can be, would be very helpful to me.
Mr. Chair? Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I second that. Mr. Foote is exactly right, and I think that's part of what's causing me to be real unready on this. And I would like to encourage the IT department to get this to us by the end of today, or at the really by the end of today, or if they need, till 8 o'clock Monday, that's fine. But we need to have that level of specifics long before we are considering this budget at 2 o'clock on Monday.
Amen. So let me make everybody aware, and let's go ahead and make sure this change, that finance and Mr. Mellenbecker, you have this change. It just came to my attention. I just looked at it. Amendment number 9.
Where's that?
That's the amendment we made.
Just about $38,000?
No, we made an amendment. I think this was yesterday.
Oh.
I moved, it was seconded by Councilmember Hartley, to fund the Human Resource Department with $45,617 from information technology vacant positions and reimburse the general fund from which the money was taken originally. So that was one move that's already made. So she has minus that. I'm thinking to just kind of move this boat along. She has 11 vacant positions. That if we just take that 11 and just hold it right now, and if we look at a good budget plan with the positions she has, right? With the positions she has, and then try to achieve some savings, like if there's a vehicle, if there's not a vehicle, if there's gas, if there's not gas, just try to find what kind of savings and report back. But right now, I think we just kind of hold those positions, right? I don't know if there's no action need to be taken. We just kind of just hold that, right? But as of right now, consider it as if we're going to use it somewhere else. That's how I want you to consider it. Okay? Is that fair, colleagues?
Okay.
That's fair.
Yes, Mr. Banks.
Is that fair, Griselle?
Yes, it is.
I know what Councilman Griselle getting ready for Murray to beat them tonight. But okay.
You know that's not gonna happen, sir.
I don't know. We're gonna see.
I know. The smoke is white. I saw the smoke. It's white. It ain't happening.
All right. We got Human and Culture Service.
I do want to make sure I'm understanding correctly what it is that you all are wanting by 8 o'clock on Monday. You want a detailed listing of the the jobs, the duties, and you want a detailed listing of the professional services. Am I understanding that correctly?
More details than we've got. I mean, you know, how much details, I'm not sure, but so that we can have a better sense of where the money is going to work and what we're going to get for the investment of those funds.
Yeah. I mean, basically, reimagine your department and, you know, see how we can kind of deal with that. And also just think a little bit more progressively about publications and how it can be used. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and just, Dr. Reed, look, I imagine it's been somewhat traumatic over there. Half the staff no longer there within the last year. We want to know, where are you going? And what exactly justify these needs? And we need a little bit more specificity. We need for you to be a little bit more exact on that to help us understand, okay? And
Okay.
like I said, I know it has to be somewhat traumatic. 50% reduction in personnel, there's a lot of moving pieces going on over there. We want to know, what is your next move, what is the next step, and why?
Okay.
All right. All right. Fire. We got that information. We ready? All right. So we good. We got fire, and then we got human and cultural service, and then my intent is to go ahead and get this out of committee and put this in Virgil's lap. I mean, Councilwoman Lindsay's lap. I know she's over there like, really, but
Thank you, Mr. Banks. Thank you.
just give it to her. Fire. What we got? Go ahead. Who?
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we have come up with is that we're going to give up those, was it 25 positions, I believe?
Mm-hmm.
25 positions. And that gonna, and I can't even see that. Where your glass? It's bad to get old. No, it's good to get old. So anyway, and we give those positions, that's gonna give us $1.3 million. And it's $1,321,161, okay? So we do that. However, we're gonna have to have some more funding in order to get to where we're trying to get to give a $5,000 across the board raise, okay? But that's gonna be contingent upon us having a meeting with the union to have a collective bargain agreement deal done and to cut back on overtime. And if we were able to do that, then all this could go into effect. So that's what we have to do.
All right. So that whole 1.3 we're gonna put toward the raises for now. Is that what I'm hearing? Yep.
Say,
1.3.
yeah,
All right. Now we have identified some one-time monies, not in perpetuity for salaries, but you haven't given us everything yet on the one-time amendments. Or did we make those votes already? I'm lost. We haven't. What did we do? What, we only did the truck? Okay. All right. It was the other stuff, the
it was
uniforms.
$32 extra $1,000, I believe. Oh, you're talking about the list that we gave.
Yeah, the other list. Let's go and get the employees out the way, and then we'll go to the other list.
Okay.
Is there a motion in the second for that? Do we have that information, how that amendment would go? Do y'all have it? Finance? Is that a sure yes or? The 1.3 he talking about. All right, so his vacancies to achieve these raises, and then. I mean, so say it again. It's already in salaries, so we're just making an amendment to, not, is it freeze? No, it's not freezing. It's you're removing. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So is there a motion to basically defund 25 positions? Yeah, defund 25 positions to increase the salary line. 5,000. I'm gonna let them figure out the line items. 1.3 million. So all right, let's get this correct. The 5% I know the 5% which the police got was 600,000 something. They freed up in their own money 1.3 million, and whatever that is, I have no problem with giving that to them in raises because that's their money.
I have a problem with, that may seem fair to us, but they're gonna be.
Mr. Banks, Mr. Foot needs to use his mic.
I'm sorry. I understand where you're coming from, saying it's their money, but the reality is, for the people that work in the police department and other departments around the city, if the fire department gets a 10% raise, and I'm assuming that would be what this is, I'm not sure, but that may be a burr under their saddle. I mean, I don't want to create unrest within the city workforce.
So are you saying that basically basically we make a decision to say, let's cut the amount of salaries necessary to give them a 5% raise?
Well,
to the police. I mean,
that's
help me understand what you're
I'm
agreeing
I'm
with.
just saying, as the powers of the purse here, they're in a position because they've got enough vacancies, they can do that and shift, close down those positions. It may hurt our insurance rating or something like the chief had mentioned earlier. We got to be cognizant that it's going to be, we're the ones that are responsible for making the decision, and we got to make sure that we're comfortable giving one department a 10% raise across the board when other departments are not going to get that.
All right, so basically what you're saying is that you wouldn't support this as is.
I'm not sure. I'm curious what other people think.
Go, something to clarify?
Yeah, I wanted to clarify that if we give this raise, we would only be catching up to where police already are. So it's not like we would be taking a step above them.
So it's a $5,000 for every person, whether they're at the top of the pay where they're making $75,000 now, or whether they're making $32,000, $34,000 right now.
No, it's not quite that. We have a proposal, and it came from our finance manager, but and it's real small, so I'm trying to read it. But it's it's $5,500 for the firefighter tools relief drivers, $5,000 for lieutenants, $4,500 for captains, and $4,500 also for every position above the district chief level.
What about FF1s?
That was addressed. We're actually trying to take out that
Just
position.
fund
and
the
put-
FF2s.
Yeah, and put enough money into it just to fund the firefighter tools. That way we don't have to find spaces for the firefighter ones when they graduate. They'll already have money set aside available for them to be in that position once they graduate and get certified.
You're going to set aside money from this money? I'm not sure if you can do so legally.
No, we're not setting aside money. The position would be, the lowest position on our department would be a firefighter 2.
Oh, so
We
everybody
would-
starts out as a firefighter 2 instead of a firefighter 1?
You need
Yeah.
the room because they get promoted within a year.
Because they get
You
promoted,
start them off at 42,000?
they won't start off if, wait a minute, the firefighter twos at that point would be making, I think 46, 47, somewhere in that range if we give them, because they are, firefighter twos right now, firefighter twos and RDOs are at 42,000.
Yeah, I knew there were
If we give them
42,000.
a $5,500 raise, that would make them like 47.5. That's still below what police department is making coming out of the academy, from my understanding. But now our firefighter ones will be getting paid a portion of that money, not that entire amount. That money will be there allocated for that position, that firefighter two. But because the firefighter ones graduate so quickly and go to a firefighter two, then we would have an area for them to graduate into. You get what I'm saying? Does it make sense?
Boy, that's pretty complicated to me. I'm gonna have to think about that. I'm sorry. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I agree with Hartley. You need a sandwich. Councilwoman, colleagues, how do we feel about this? Basically, what we just asked is about 1.3 million, allowing them to use that to achieve those raises. I think that's what.
It comes up to 1.7, but he was saying we're gonna take the rest of it out of the overtime line. And like I say, that will be contingent upon us.
What you mean take the rest of it out of the overtime line? Who said that?
You lower the overtime?
Hold on.
Yes.
What overtime line?
The overtime line that currently exists.
I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to Brandy.
Okay.
I'm gonna let him get brought up to speed. Yeah, I'm gonna let him get brought up to speed real quick. No. I know. Yeah, yeah. All right, so it's 1.3. It's not, it cannot be 1.7. Yes. Where's it coming from? How you gonna propose something you don't know where it's coming from? Go ahead, Hartley. You need a sandwich or something else.
By the amount of the raise that he stated is going to be a total of 1.7. And
That-
so the vacancies they're giving up is 1.3. So they just need to find the difference.
So they need to find
$400,000.
$400,000 is what we need to find in perpetuity. Okay. So let's do this part first. Who is in agreement with the 1.3 in the money they found?
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
That money, that 1.3 is money that would be made available because they are giving up 25 positions. Is that correct? Am I reading that right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, I mean, they have found the money to help with their raise, so I support that.
All right. Councilman Griselle, what about yourself?
I'm on board with that.
Councilman Hartley, you on board with that? Councilman Foot, you're not on board with that. Okay. All right. But to get to where they are, and let me make this clear for understanding, what Chief Armand was referring to, it still doesn't break them in line to police, is because I want you all to remember, I can't remember if it was 3 or 4 years ago, we did a raise for police, and when we did that raise for police, we did not do fire. That's how it kind of got out of, am I right or wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
No. I remember because I got confronted, but I remember because the year we did it only for police. That was the first year of our term. That was 2 years ago, and we did it only for police. Last year was the first time we started doing it. So what happened is we moved police ahead, and we started with fire last year. Am I correct? Last year was our first year in a long time, right?
Right.
We ain't trying to go that far back. So what he's alluding to is the reason why it's out of line is because we did it with police and said, okay, fire, wait, we'll get to you. And then police has kind of been moving and fire didn't really start to this. So that's the reason he was saying it. That's just for historical sake.
That was when that parity was taken out, when you all did the police raise, and we didn't get it. That was the first year the parity, you know.
Right, I remember because I think
Yeah.
Monica Joyner was city attorney, I think.
Yeah, and I think Councilman Priester made that motion, and I think it passed. So they took parity out of it, and that's what happened.
You ain't have to call the names, but yes, sir, I remember. You remember that now? Yeah. Yeah. Basically, the argument, our discussion was that the agreement couldn't carry from one administration to another administration. And then there was a motion that was made to take it out. And then police got a raise, they did not get their raise. And so we've been trying to make right that ship ever since. All right, so you understand, I just want to make sure you understood. All right, so in order to get them where they need to be, we will have to find another 400,000. Okay? You see where we looking? I'm looking at you. You see where we looking? I just want you to, okay. All right. All right. So let's make that amendment. Is there a motion and a second on that amendment?
What's the motion again?
The motion is the 25 positions that freed up 1.3 million, defunds those positions to go toward raises within the fire department.
So move.
No, we didn't. I just asked for a straw vote. All right. Is there a second? All right. It's been moved and properly second to take the money out of the 25 positions that were funded and put it toward raises at the salary line for fire department. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, 4 with 1 opposition. And so now we have $400,000 left over to achieve the goal of the chief, and then a line item list. You got that already? The line item list for the supplies. That list. You got it?
I have it. I don't have it with me.
We don't have the correct amendment numbers.
Right.
Okay. How soon can you get that? The correct numbers? Mr. Mellebecker, while you're doing it, Mr. Mellebecker, any suggestion on the 400,000? Let me say this. Let me say this. Can we? Go ahead. I'm listening.
To put the,
What's left? What's left of that? 2. No, it's not. No. Okay, that's fair. 288 is left. All right. Let's do this, and I want to kind of. How much did we do for for police in fund balance? $140 something? Huh?
91,814 we doing? 91,814
$91,000.
$814.51.
All right. All right. I'll put a motion on the floor to take the 288,000 left from those 2 funds. Hold on. This is the 465 plus the 420. It's 288,000 left, right? Huh? amendment number 16? All right, so we use $91,814 from fund balance for police, and the rest from JPD vacancies. All right. Talk to me. Yeah, talk to me.
It's 137,270.53.
And the difference of that from the 400 is what? All right, give it to me one more time. 200 what? All right, colleagues, I move that we take, I move, all right, I move that we take $137,270.53 from 4420. Yeah, yeah. All right, from 44,240 to the salary line in the fire department to accomplish the goals by Chief Owens. Second. Huh? Oh, I move. You second. I'm sorry. All right. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Item carries 4-1. And then the last one would be to take $271,729.47 from fund balance. Mm-hmm. To give the difference of the of the raise for the fire department. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly second on there. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, item carries 4-1. All right, congratulations. So we got the fire department situated. So the only thing we need from the fire department is that itemized list of the additional things you need. And you'll have that to us.
Sure, get it today. He working on it now.
Oh, they're working on it now. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't, okay.
So I think earlier we did the 50 for the truck. So there was a $32,589.38.
So somebody help me or subtract the difference with what's left. Help me do this. Subtract the difference with what's left in Zurich and subtract the difference with what left in that 376 fund. All right, let's go to planning real quick. And the reason I'm saying, if you don't have it all today, since it's a short list, it's not long or it's not much, we could take that up as an amendment on the floor after we vote this out of committee. So we won't be behind on our timeline.
Yeah,
But you,
so they have the number, the $32,589.38.
all right, $32,589
And 38 cents.
and 88 cents. Take it from 376. All right. colleagues, I move that we take $32,589.86. All right. $32,590 from Fund 376 to pay for the supplies provided by the fire department.
So moved.
All right, to go into damage. Make sure y'all get the.
Second.
All right, yeah, just make sure you correct it with the clerk and get it with the clerk. All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, oppose? 376, that's what we've been, no, the damage. That 6316. All right, but, no, it's not.
That was due to the recent tire fire?
Yes,
Okay, and a truck was burned?
right.
One of our,
It was,
okay.
right. It was
All right.
50,000 for
All
that
right.
one truck.
So let the record reflect,
32,000 for the rest of the equipment.
let the record reflect that Councilman Foote was in favor. He says he's in favor. Let the record reflect he's in favor. So that passed. So fire department's done. All right, so all we got is planning.
Thank you all.
Not planning. Human culture. We do got one more planning. We never did talk about that line item, but we could deal with that. We could deal with that line item for the commercial properties when it gets on the floor. Okay? All right. Human and culture. Dr. Scott, are you ready? You have the information?
We're here.
I do have it. Is that what you just handed me?
No, it was earlier. This one.
All right, it's somewhere up here. I just got everything everywhere else.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
All right. So basically, total funds being requested, building repair, security positions, fiber internet, utilities, operating. Let me ask you a question. Why is the fiber internet cost within human and cultural service, that's not covered in IT in what we just did? Does anybody know? Dr. Scott?
I don't believe it is. This is the quote that was given to us by IT that would come out of our budget if we wanted to get fiber at this particular facility.
I go ahead. Dr. Wright, Dr. Omar, can somebody verify? Because I know that the 188,000 that she had in her budget for fiber was not just, it was citywide, wasn't it?
Yeah, so usually it's citywide. However, some departments, including fire, they do carry a small amount budgeted
Okay.
for fiber for some of their facilities. But IT, does address citywide repairs.
All right. So let's go this line by line. Colleagues, if you're looking at the sheet, if those are her senior centers is 30,000 requested for senior centers, 350,000 requested for the art center, and it looks like security on-site personnel is included in that one. The art gallery, 26,000 is requested. Smith Robinson Museum and Cultural Center, 195,000. Planetarium, 133,000. Early Childhood, West Side of Jones, 170. Family Youth Service Division, 87. Salaries, 207,000. All right. How much is left in Zurich? Let me ask this question, Mr. Mellenbecker. We put over the amount in building maintenance in public works.
Yes.
Does that go toward this? Does that handle most of this? It should absorb this, right?
So a lot of it should, yes.
All right.
And we were talking about this morning. Whenever we do building repairs and maintenance, care maintenance sends us the bill, and we, they pay it. But when we send them the information, they want a quote, an account number with that so they know which account to bill it from. So we end up paying it. So I don't know how that will go in the future.
Mr. Bellenbecker, if you can address Dr. Scott's concern.
Yeah, so if you go through Mr. Wright, right, and, he'll manage that process.
All right.
Okay.
All right, what's left over in Zurich? After all the amendments that we done? All right. And the reason why I'm asking, Councilman Foote, since a lot of the other requests are repairs to buildings and things, maybe just take the rest of the Zurich money and just put it all there. What's your thoughts on that, Hardy? What's your thoughts on that, Councilwoman Lindsay?
I would support that, Mr. Banks.
All right, Councilman Griselle, you good too?
All good.
All right. So look, I don't know what the exact amount is. Somebody make sure the clerk get it. I need a motion to take the leftover monies. Oh, hold on. Somebody coming to me. All right. All right. Hold on before we go there. Let's get this amount. I got it. So, colleagues, you remember when we voted on the Fund 31372 for the grass cutting and stuff? And we voted 2.362795. Councilmember Hartley moved, President Lindsay second. It has come to our attention that that was the incorrect amount. The amount needs to be 2.781435.
Can you kind of explain what happened there?
Dr. Wright,
Did we not have the right amount? Okay, so we needed to add Central Supply.
All right, so can we just make an amendment to add Central Supply? All right. I think we still should be good in 376. All right. All right, we should be all right. So colleagues, Councilwoman, Madam President, Mr. Vice President. So basically, when we did the grass cutting change, what we forgot to include was the 400-some thousand from Central Supply. So there would need to be a motion to move. What's the amount? What is the direct amount? The difference? Huh? 418,640 from Fund 376 to go toward the grass cutting, the contractual grass cutting service from Central Supply. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moving properly second on that motion. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that corrects that. So that, all right, just get this last one. Did y'all get that amount from Zurich? Oh, no. Huh? You got the amount? All right, let's do this. And this should cover it. No, this should cover it, and we just fix it and make sure we fix it. I need a motion to take whatever is left in Zurich to put over into the maintenance fund for building maintenance, to Fund 47 for building maintenance. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second.
Now, okay, so where are we on grass cutting? Does that includes the grass cutting?
No, that's not grass cutting. We're back on the building.
Oh, okay, so we're done with that.
Yeah, we done with the grass cut. So all these senior centers and stuff that need to be fixed,
Right.
we're just putting all the money into maintenance so they can,
Okay.
all right, so this motion is taken. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
All right, that concludes Human and Cultural Service. I think that is everything except for the information that we're going to receive from Dr. Reed. Is there anything else that's out? Is that everything? Clerk, if you could provide the council with a summary. Everything else, amendments will be made from the floor of the special call meeting. To get this, so colleagues, we need to vote this out of committee. To get this on the floor for the special call meeting, which is scheduled for Monday at 2:00, okay? So, we have now on the floor, the resolution to adopt the revised 24-25 budget. I hope I'm saying that right. Yep, 24-25 budget, with several amendments. All in favor?
Just,
Yeah.
do we
Aye.
include
Hold on.
Monday's action?
No. So what this does is, Councilman Hart, is what the information we didn't get from Dr.
Yes, yes.
She'll bring it to us. We'll make it on the floor in the
Okay.
in the special meeting.
Okay,
But we just need to get it out of committee so it can go to the next meeting.
okay.
All right, so I just need to. We didn't make a motion second. I'm saying all in favor of approving of, the FY 24-25 budget as amended several times, 28 times. Say aye.
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 All right. This budget is out of committee. Thank you, Jesus. All right. If there's
Thank you,
nothing
Mr. Banks.
Thank you. If there's nothing else to come before this body, hold on. What? Say what now? We good? All right. If there's nothing to come before this body, meeting adjourned.